Anybody home? I'm going to give it a minute to fill up here because it's not our normal night. But welcome to Koffee and Kalash, better known as Koffee and Kalashnikovs, but we're shortening it up from now on. Koffee and Kalash. There was a big announcement today. Actually, I don't even know if it's out there yet. I saw one channel report on it, but that's only because he knows someone who knows someone, whatever. And it wasn't going to be the original topic of discussion tonight. I missed you guys yesterday at normal time, so I figured, what the heck, and with this announcement, figured we'd run it tonight. So I hope we get some our usual folks stopping in here tonight. For anybody new to Koffee and Kalashnikovs, this is just a firearm vlog, a firearm live stream. Talk about everything firearms. Yes, we are an AK-based channel, but we dabble into everything else. We're not anti-AR. We're not we're fanboys of the AK, but we talk about everything and anything out there that's firearms, collecting, shooting, reloading, you name it. Military firearms, surplus firearms, run-of-the-mill everyday firearms, whatever you enjoy, competition, we cover it all. And you'll see over at the side there is a live chat. Make sure when you go to that live chat, up at the top it says top chat, click the drop down button and go to live chat, because that'll show you everything, not just the top whatever. You'll see it all. That way you're not missing out on anything. Anyhow, the way it works is you can chat in here, ask questions. Maybe you want to talk about a Tavor, IWI Tavor tonight. Bring it up. We'll talk about it. You can ask questions. You can comment. It gets pretty lively in there. It's a lot of fun. And that's why we enjoy it. But we talk about what you want to talk about here. Yes, we have a guideline, a little outline, so to speak, and we cover a couple current events type of thing. And then we jump into your stuff. If you'd like your comment to jump to the top, or if you just like us or think I'm ugly, whatever. Down at the bottom there, a little $sign, click on that. You can give us a super chat. Any amount of money from a penny to $1 million, we'll take it all. And we thank you. It keeps the channel going. So thanks for that. But our live stream is usually Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock Central. And I missed it yesterday for very good reason. If you saw my thumbnail, you'll find out why. I'm going to tell you the story. But then this announcement came up, and it affects the nation. So I wanted to bring it up here and get your comments on it. So we will get into things. We got a few people here. We're not one of these huge live streams, but who knows? We do it for fun. Anyhow, as my little thumbnail there goes, I was out hunting yesterday and got out early in the morning and had a heck of an experience. But I want to tell you about this announcement because it's good. So the Northern Court of Texas was hearing a case, Brito versus the ATF. And that's a pistol brace case, okay? And guess what the judge did down there? He gave a nationwide break until things get settled. So we have... can use your pistol brace again, I guess. Is it going to be appealed? I'm sure it is. Now, what'll happen? I don't know. Usually, it's a case that one court doesn't want to step on the other's toes, and nobody wanted to jump into that nationwide pistol brace thing. You could, if you remember the GOA and these other groups, you were included in these, in now it's nationwide. So, hey, pretty cool. I know I love my pistol braces and enjoyed them and haven't been enjoying them for a while now. So that's a big plus. Keep an eye out, guys, because I'm sure there'll be an appeal, and who knows, I wouldn't go, grabbing a bunch of braces and bolting them on your pistols right away and running out to the local range, Anyhow, I thought that was pretty cool. It came out about 33 minutes ago, less than an hour ago. So that's out there right now. We have a nationwide injunction, supposedly. We'll see. Comes on good authority, though. The gentleman that announced it was a state prosecutor for the state of Wisconsin. He's very well connected, has a good channel. It's all about 2A laws and court cases. They never all give advice, but he'll tell you what to watch to protect your rights if you ever get jammed up with something. And of course, he goes over the latest stories and cases having to do with the Second Amendment. So he's no dummy, and he researches his stuff well. But again, that's a Northern Court of Texas. And looks like, for all intents and purposes, we have a nationwide injunction saying this whole mess is settled. Like I said, just repeating what I heard. I supposedly know someone directly involved. I don't, but I take his word for it. He is well connected, and he is an attorney. Not only that, but he was a prosecutor for the state of Wisconsin. So, yeah, take it for what it is. But as always, do your research. So, what do you think of that? You guys happy? Of course, I'm sure most of you took your pistol braces and destroyed them like good drones would, or at least removed them or sold them to somebody for a doorstop or something like that, right? Yeah. What do you guys think? I like pistol braces. It's not that I'm against SBRing or anything. No, I would. Do I think SBRing and the NFA is right? No, that's not what I believe or what I'm saying at all. But I don't think it's fair, nor do I think it's constitutional to be able to charge a tax for something. You're not saying something's illegal. You're just saying it's only illegal if you don't pay our tax. And that I don't care for. It's like machine guns. Everybody thinks machine guns are banned, right? Oh, you can't get a machine gun. They're banned. That's not true. Anyone that is not a felon or otherwise prohibited from buying a regular old handgun, shotgun, whatever, can buy and own a machine gun. I always found that to be the most confusing thing. So machine guns aren't illegal. They're not banned. People trade in them every day, buy them, sell them. You just have to register your ownership with the NFA, with the ATF, I should say, and you have to pay a $200 tax, right? That's all. You can own all you want. You could buy a fully automatic M16, an AK-47. Hell, you can buy belt-fed machine guns. Any citizen can own them. It's legal and has been. But, the way the media, news programs, anybody on the other side of the gun argument will tell you that, nope, the machine guns are outlawed. They're banned. You can't own a machine gun. Citizens can't own those weapons of war, right? Well, surprise, yes, you can. And those of us 2A nerds out there, or not even 2A nerds, just well informed gun owners have always known that machine guns aren't illegal. Not at all. What it is there haven't been any manufactured since that ruling came out, and only machine guns manufactured prior to that date and are on the federal registry can be bought and sold and owned by citizens. So no new ones can be added to it. But there's tens of thousands, or I don't know, maybe even hundreds of thousands of them out there legally owned. And when someone passes away or decides to sell it, you can buy it. They're for sale every day. Oh yeah, and you can probably buy them on the internet. Well, not really. I suppose you can buy it, but you still have to do your background check, and you have to apply for your tax stamps, and you have to wait for those to come through, and your background check to go through, and your next check, and all that other good stuff. So, yeah, it's just how media and the anti-gun machine like to talk. They want to make sure that you think and spread the word that all this stuff is illegal, and anybody dabbling in it must be a criminal and a felon. But that's not true. Anyhow, so who knows? Maybe they won't get a appeal on this and overturn it or stay it or whatever you call it. Let's see who's in the chat here. We attended the 2A EDU shoot this weekend. Had a great time. We're going to talk to you about that a little bit, what we did, who was there, all the fun we had. Just want to make you guys jealous a little bit. It was a nice day. Did get a little bit of drizzle, but wasn't bad. Let's see. Ross. Hey, of course, Ross is first. Me and Ross had a good time. Hey, Rock, I lost power at my house, so may be in and out occasionally tonight. No problem. Gotta get you a backup generator system, son, or some solar or something. Yep, just because we're gun guys doesn't mean we're against solar, does it? I'm really considering running my entire house on nothing but solar, being off the grid on a regular house. I think it's same money as if I hooked to the grid with how far I got to go. But my wife's not sold on it yet. So who knows? We'll see. But right now it looks like we're going to be on the grid. So unfortunately, I like the feeling that I don't have to be beholden to a government or a utility or a power company or whatever, that I can make my own and I'm not at their whim, so to speak. Joe Morgan is here, of course. So is Joe Mercado. They both say hi. Hey, Dale, how are you? Haven't seen you in 4 days. Yeah, we had a good time. Saturday was fun. Missed my old man tonight. He raised, right? Raise it? I don't know if that's mistyped or I just don't know that word. But I think later Joe said he's hammered. Let's see, Joe. Good to see y'all. No place I'd rather be. I'm very drunk, and that's okay. Yes, it is okay. Hey, it is Koffee and Kalashnikovs. And by coffee, we don't mean just coffee. That's only because it rhymed or started. Well, it really didn't start with the same letter, but I made it start with it. You get what I'm saying. It's about the beverage of your choice, and as usual, peach Red Bull. If you haven't tried this, guys, go get yourself a can. I want to make it so popular that they keep making it. There's some stores that they carry everything but this, and then a lot of stores that have it. I love it. It's absolutely magnificent. My favorite beverage in the world. I just wish they'd sponsor my channel like Brandon Herrera at the AK Guy channel is sponsored by White Claw, and they blow them up every now and then. I wish Red Bull would sponsor me, but that's not going to happen. Not with 7 people watching. It is not our normal night, and no, we don't normally get 200, 500, 600 people watching. Who do you think we are? 2A EDU? He's grown tremendously, and we all know why. He's a great guy. Super knowledgeable guy. He does a ton working for preserving your Second Amendment rights. That's for sure, especially in Michigan. Let's see. Neil Young had a good song about my father. Did it? What was it called? Taxation without representation. You got. I'm not okay. Hey, we're together in that, man. I lost my dad right around 4th of July, and I know what you're feeling. I think the difference is, and I think it was with you too, at the end of the day, dementia, that's a nice way of saying Alzheimer's, had taken away from us a long time before that. I thought, when was the last time I really had a conversation with my dad? You know, a two-way conversation, because people with Alzheimer's, before it gets super bad, they get very good at covering it by saying, hey, instead of your name, hey, handsome, how you doing? That kind of thing. And you're talking about a subject they are very well versed in and know like the back of their hand, and they'll just do a lot. Okay. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah. But they're not adding anything. It's a one-way conversation. They can't grab the words, whatever. And that had been a long time with my dad. So I said bye to my dad a long, long time ago, at least in that sense. Physically, we had him here, but and there were good days and bad days. But yeah, I miss him tremendously. When I need advice, when I've got a situation that I just know he could add so much experience to and give me a different perspective on, or tell me that, yeah, that's the way to go, or no, don't do that. It's like, what would Dad say? You know, what would Dad do? That kind of thing. So I get it. And you miss them, right? You miss them. And hey, it's a terrible thing. We all go through it. And you kind of feel that there's more weight put on you, you know. So just you'll get through it, man. And whenever it's tough, you got us. Maybe that's why I'm here tonight on a Wednesday night. Huh, Joe? Who knows? Peach Crown Royal for me. That sounds good. Dude, I am trash and I'm the Second Amendment and it's okay. Let's see. 11/7/2000. Dad had last hunt 23 years and I miss him every day. Yeah. You know, it's funny. So if you guys saw my thumbnail, went out bow hunting, and I've been bow hunting. I didn't go out opening day. You guys heard, if you've seen my last few live streams, that I had to get a new bow and all the equipment because we're in the middle of a move. We sold one house, building a new homestead project. You can check out our channel for that, the beginnings of it. Bunch of acreage, home, animals, a little bit of farming, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I had no intention of it being all about deer hunting, but when I put some cameras out, oh my God. And the one that's on the thumbnail is the guy that I ran across yesterday morning. I've been going out here and there in the evening. I set up another tree stand, but I hadn't done serious hunting, and the rut is here. It's on right now here where we're at in Wisconsin. And so I said, you know what? I'm hunting as much as I can this week, and I'm going to get something. Camera's been a little light lately. They were super heavy a week ago, and then we had this warm spell, and deer and the rut slow down when it gets warm. The rut doesn't stop. It keeps on going, but it slows down. Cold weather triggers buck movement. Bucks will start moving like mad when that temperature takes a dive. A cold spell comes in. And same for does, but especially in the rut, man, it really gets them moving. What actually gets them moving is the amount of sunlight they get. So the shorter the days, that starts to trigger the rut. Anyhow, it's full blown. It's going. So I get up at 3:50 a.m. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday morning. And I had all my gear ready to go, and brand new bow, everything sighted in, arrows, my broadheads, the sight, everything's done. I'm shooting the bow well. It's tuned up. Everything's good. I don't have any camo. Everything's in storage. So the first time I went out a few days before that, get up in a tree morning, in not half an hour, and this doe comes walking in, and she's looking everywhere. She's nervous, I can tell. And she's looking, trying to win me, whatever, but she's right there in the clearing. I could have shot her right away. But I'm not going for does. I just don't want to take a doe. I want what I want, and I'm going to try and manage the deer on my property the best I can. So I'm waiting for a buck. Anyhow, she's nervous, she's sniffing, and then boom, she looks right up at me, right up in the stand. This stand's about 20 feet up, looking right at me and not breaking eyes. It's a staring contest. And when you have a deer doing that to you, you don't want to look eye to eye contact. If you blink or something, it could screw it up. I think they sense that. They see something. Eyes tell the story, and they may not be able to see you, but all of a sudden they make out the eyes. I don't know. It's just how I think of it. I've had them spot me that way, and I believe that's the only way they did a couple of times. So anyways, I don't look at them. And what deer will do is they'll stare you down, and then they'll start doing this. The deer don't see in 3D. They only see in 2D. So to get a better picture, they don't see color, but they see movement extremely well. So they may see an outline of whatever color shirt you got, and then pants, and it all looks like shades of gray to them. But to get a 3D picture or a better outline of, an outline of a human would probably scare the hell out of them, right? There's their prey, and they start doing this. They bob their head up and down. They move it like a plane to see if they can see you. If they still can't make you out, then they'll try and scare whatever it is into moving. They'll stomp their hoof a couple times, and if you still sit there and don't move, they may figure, well, it's okay. They'll try and wind you, get some sniff of the air, but I had the wind with me. She couldn't figure me out. She knew something wasn't right, couldn't figure me out, but she started eating, walking around, eventually moseyed off. The second one came in. This one did the same thing, saw me. I got through all the initial stuff, and it walked away. It was about 70 yards away from me, some trees in between. I felt it was safe to move. I moved a little bit, and all of a sudden she snorted and alerted the whole farm that somebody was there or something wasn't wrong. So that was that for that day. So now this was my second day out hunting. Sunrise was at 6:30, and I got to the property at about 5:45 or so. Went out and got some camo because I know they saw me because of the not wearing camo. I had a green colored shirt like this on the first morning and blue jeans on. Well, guess what? The one color blue deer can see is blue. So they could probably see my blue jeans. They can't see a fluorescent hunter orange, however. That's one of the hardest colors for them to see, actually. Just looks gray. But I had to get some camo. So me and my wife found a sale, and I went and loaded up on new jacket, pants, hooded sweatshirt, a balaclava, some gloves. So I'm a big proponent of wearing either a face net or the half mask camouflaged or the full or camo makeup. I used to wear a lot of camo makeup back in the day when I was hunting, and I don't mind it. I think it's still the best way to go. I think you can really create patterns or just break it up better, and you don't have to worry about getting hot or stuff like that. Although, you can smear it and whatnot. It can be a little bit of a mess, but it's not too bad. And I just usually do 3 colors, green, black, and maybe a brown thrown in there. way back in college when we were broke, we used to take wine corks and use the black just to take the shine off your edge, like your cheekbones, your nose, stuff like that. Like football players, they see that shine, stuff like that. Things don't shine in nature usually. So your eyes, if you get a little sun and your eyes twinkle that off, they'll notice. That's why I don't look directly at them. Very few things are very shiny in nature. So it's a dead giveaway. Anyhow, I got all my new camo stuff and went out, got in the same tree. And we had very little action on the cameras because of the hot weather. But it was starting to cool down and the rut was hot and heavy, so I figured I'd get out. Get up in the tree about 6:30 on the head, 6:35, something like that. It started getting light early. It was either a pretty bright moon or something, but I could see really well going to the stand without a flashlight. It was dark, don't get me wrong, but by the time I got to the stand, it was right at sunup. Got up, got comfortable, got set up, and sat back to wait. And watching, and nothing's moving. Couple squirrels. I heard some turkeys. I thought maybe some turkeys had come in because we've been getting a lot of turkeys to stand, like a whole flock of them, like 10, 20 at a time. I did hear one rooster, and of course I don't have a turkey call with me, but anyhow, time was going kind of slow, and I thought it's got to be about 9 o'clock, I figured. And I just wanted to take a little break. The wind was really whipping out of the north and hitting my back directly. And I was just wanted to get down, warm up in the sun, maybe go have a smoke or something and go sit in another stand. But I wanted to check everything out around me, make sure I didn't miss anything off in the little further areas so I wouldn't disturb anything. Came down and have a deer blow my cover and snort and alert everything. So I move very, very slowly in a stand. That's the biggest thing. If you can overcome smell by using the wind direction, hunting from a stand where when that wind blows in, it's blowing your scent out toward some place where deer aren't going to be, like a neighbor's property or the house or a lake or a pond, or maybe a big drop off, so it's going out higher and staying up, something like that. Or some type of field that they're not going to be in the morning, like a wide open field. They're not going to be out in the middle of the field in broad daylight. Stuff like that. So I had the wind working for me, which was good, but it was super windy. And I'm checking everything out. And as far as motion, you don't want to move fast. I mean, super slow. I scan with my eyes more than anything and just move, I mean, tiny little bits like I'm doing right now at the most. And that, to make a full sweep, may take 5 minutes. But it allows you to check everything out in the distance, close up, look for, when you're hunting in heavy cover, you look for patches of stuff, or I'll look for white antlers or white spot or a white butt on the deer, whatever. I look for patches of fur, movement. I always see the movement. You see a flicker and out of your peripheral, and you look at, oh, damn, all of a sudden, that deer will appear out of nowhere because you make out one part of it. Maybe there's some trees, and then you see the ass end over here. You're like, oh, there's a deer standing right there. You didn't hear him come in, nothing. It was wet that morning, so there were no leaves to hear them coming in. They were like ghosts out there. And so I'm looking, and all of a sudden I look and I see it. Big rack, horns coming directly at me. And the way I'm set up, I'm in my tree, I'm facing directly south, and there's a little clearing in the woods to my left, this left over here. And there's a scrape right by, scrape right by a tree. And for those of you that don't bow hunt, if you're right-handed, the bow's in your left hand. So if you're sitting in a tree stand, you set up to your left whatever you're going to shoot. To shoot right, you can't. You have to turn all the way that way. So anyways, he's coming in, and he's coming in directly down the trail, and he's going to pass broadside in about 4 steps. So I click my release on, his head goes behind this group of trees. I come to full draw and 2 more steps, and it's the big boy, the guy that's in the on my thumbnail. He's anywhere between, I'm going to guess, 6 to 9 years old. That's a big, mature buck. Stomach's dropped. You can tell a mature buck. There's up tight like the younger deer, just in front of the rear quarter. They sag down. Their belly is almost straight across or even down a little bit. They age like we do, guys. Big, thick neck. This time at the rut, I mean, its neck is just absolutely monstrous, and their legs will look too short for the body. And of course, a big, thick rack. He's not by any means the biggest racked buck on the property. He's sort of average, except his main beams sort of look like bull horns. They're so thick, you know. But his body is absolutely massive. He looks like a calf or a small cow. I mean, just big, man. Old, gnarly buck, you know. And 2 more steps, and he's mine. And I wanted to take him off the property, A, because he's the most mature buck I have on the property that I've seen. B, while he's a great buck and a trophy in anybody's book, there's bigger antler deer on the property, and those are the ones I want breeding. So he's kind of the one I was targeting, and here he comes. I had seen him on camera coming through this area many, many times, so I had a pretty good idea he was going to get there, but he had been moving pre-daylight or just at daylight, so he came through exactly at 7:45. So I had been in the tree an hour and 15 minutes, and he had come down the trail. We got a trail to take the UTV pickups down, whatever. He came walking right down the trail, which is odd. Usually he's staying in the trees, hugging back, but the rut's on, so they're doing some dumber stuff, you know. And he's coming right down that trail. I'm at full draw, and I'm waiting for 2 more steps, and I'll just give him a burr, and he'll stop, and foop, and that's the end of him. What does he do? Instead of taking those 2 steps, he hangs a left, which is a right in front of me. He's going to come across the front. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm already at full draw here. I'm sitting in the tree stand, tree behind me. So if I turn, because he's going to be right in front of me, my arm's hitting the tree. I can't fully draw. I'm like, oh, crap, great. So I come off draw. I thought he was going to see that. He didn't, thank God. I start scooching like this in my seat, trying to get over on an old tree stand's been up there forever. And I'm like, please don't creak right now. And I get like this, and I try to draw, and I can't. And now he's looking. He's thinking something's up, and he's looking. He's looking up at me, but I'm full camo, face, everything. He can't see me. I'm confident of that. So I'm sitting there. He stomps a couple times. After he stomped and looked, he stepped out, and there's a broken tree made of V like this, and he's in between it. And he backed up a little. Now I can't get the chest. I figure I'm going to have to stand up and take this shot. So I'm waiting for him to turn his head, and he's not going to, and I can just sense he's about had it. He knows something's up, and he's about to let discretion be the better part of valor and turn and book, right? So just before that, I stand up, I draw. I'm still at a weird angle. I don't have my peep perfect on him, but another thing, I always aim low, right at the base, because when you shoot, you've heard of people talk about deer ducking the arrow. They don't duck the arrow. What they do is when they hear the noise of the bowstring or the shot, basically, to get out of there in the hurry that they do, they lean back and load up their rear legs so they can spring forward, right? And they usually spring forward and turn at the same time. So when they load those back legs, what it does is brings the front end of them down. Those front shoulder and head drop, and then they spring and Well, when he dropped, that arrow came in and it gave him a haircut. It went right over his back by an inch. And I know they do that. I always aim low, but I didn't have the right draw, the right anything. He was so close. He was 10 yards. I thought, there's no way I'm missing this deer. 10 yards. I mean, 3 paces, guys. Well, no, I'm sorry, 10 paces. Nothing. That's nothing. And he turned and booked so fast. I thought I hit him at first. I'm like, I think I hit him. So I sat there. He ran out to our trail. He ran up the hill and gone. I didn't hear any crashing, nothing. Ran off. I looked down. I don't see my arrow. I figured, well, maybe I hit him. We'll see. So I just gave it about 5 minutes. I climbed down real quiet. I went over. I see the leaves disturbed where he turned and all the mud thrown up. And then he almost ran that arrow over. The arrow was stuck in the ground. And just sitting there, I pulled the arrow out. Nothing on it. No blood, no nothing. I'm like, damn, I can't believe I just missed this monster at 10 yards. Guys, I haven't missed a target or an animal or anything I've shot a bow at in 20 years. I don't know. But those things happen. And frankly, I should have been ready for that because I had a doe do the same thing. Not that I was shooting at the doe, but I knew there was a possibility. But he was moving. I thought, it's done. It's over. I got it. Boom. All that's left is the work part, butchering, you know. But yeah, we missed him. So now, not that he's an old smart buck, been around a long time. It takes a lot, guys, for deer to even get past 3. And for those of you that think, 10-pointers don't until 10 years old or something, no. You can have a 3-year-old be a 10-pointer. You can have a 2-year-old be a 10-pointer. Matter of fact, most nice deer the average guy shoots are probably 2, 3, maybe 4 years. It's not too often. Those big boys, once they've been around a while and get smart, they're hard to hunt. Some of them in high pressure areas will go completely nocturnal. You will not see one move during daylight hours. I've had bucks come to the edge of a clearing an hour before dark, and I think, I got him, man. He's going to step out and whack. That deer stays right there. And it's like they know. He stays right there till I can't see my sight pins anymore. The second I can't see my sight pins, he comes marking out, you know. They're hard. They're very hard. Well, now that I spooked him like that, I don't think he really knew what happened. He just heard a real loud noise right over his back, and he heard the zoop of the arrow going over, because they do make noise. If you ever had your arrow shot at you or in your direction or even passing you, yeah, it's a cool sound, actually. It's like it's out of a sci-fi movie, like zoop. It's kind of neat, but I don't know. I don't think he made me. I don't think he just knew that arrow flew by him. Maybe he saw it. Maybe he saw me. I don't know. But he turned, and man, that deer turned fast. I mean, he went from sideways, load, launch, and turn and gone like that. I mean, amazing. I'm not saying he ducked the arrow. He did not. But it's just amazing how fast they are. But he's going to be hard to hunt. I can just about guarantee you he will not come back through that trail or past that stand again. Oh, some people say, 2-3 weeks they'll start using it. Smart old bucks like that, I would doubt highly if he goes through there at all anymore this year. And if and when he does next year, I believe that he'll always remember there's something here, be careful, So that really screws me on this, because I had dialed him in. I had him on camera. I knew where he was going to be. I had to hunt that morning. I told my wife even, I said, I'm hunting tomorrow. had a feeling I had his pattern down. I knew the days he didn't come through, or so it seemed. There was a pattern. He'd come through 2-3 days, then you wouldn't see him 4 or 5. Then you'd see him 2-3, you wouldn't see him 4 or 5. I laid it all out on paper. I think I showed you guys in a live stream last week or the week before. I knew what time they were coming in. I said I can hunt for about an hour a day, hour and a half a day. I would get this deer. And sure enough, and I'd blow it. I was kicking myself all day yesterday. You have no idea how mad I was at myself. I used to bow hunt every day, morning, noon, night. If I had time off during college, no classes, I would be out hunting. That's all I did from the day we started school in the fall till Christmas break. Is I was out bow hunting every single day. And while I've shot bows quite a bit over the last, 20 years, I have not bow hunted once. I've rifle hunted. I had not bow hunted. And it was nice to get back into it. You know what's funny, too? I was getting out of the car that morning. And I got a picture of my son sitting on the dash there. I say good morning to him every morning and everything. But I looked at the picture as I was getting out of the truck, and his nickname was Moji. So I said, hey, Moj. I said, how about you give your old man a little help this morning? And I got out of the truck, and don't you know, an hour later, 45 minutes later, out comes the buck I'm looking for. And Pops blew it, John. Yep. No such luck. Anyhow. We'll find them, or I really don't want to shoot one of those the younger ones, because while they're bigger racks, I know they're going to be even bigger next year. They're probably only 50%, 60% of their potential. Give them another year or two, because these are 3-year-old deer, roughly, with much bigger racks. Their brow tines, I'm not kidding you, are 8-9 inches. They're huge. These are going to be monster racks on these things. They're big now. There's nobody in this chat that wouldn't shoot one of these deer. That's how nice they are. But they're going to be much nicer. And that's what we're going for. It's different. When you're on public land, it's one thing. When it's your property, you're like, yeah. And don't get me wrong, a neighbor could shoot them. That's usually what happens, though. These deer get big like that, and then a neighbor shoots them before they have time to get to that potential. There's a famous deer guy, Don Hill, I think it is. Don Smith, something like that. And he preaches this, and that's where I get it from. And I just believe in managing it like that. You want big deer, big deer. Not everyday average big. Look at my buddy's giant buck. That ain't giant, pal. That's a 150. When you see a 200, you know it. Anyhow. Yeah, I screwed it up, screwed the pooch, so to speak. So I went back out that evening, but I got caught at work in between, and only got about 45 minutes of hunting in, and most of that was that half hour after sundown, where I could still see my pins. But and we went to a different stand, a new stand I put up, and no action at all. But didn't help that my neighbor, all I heard was beep, 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 beep. He's in his bobcat right next to the property line, digging this. That's another story. I put the driveway right on my property line, shove all the crap down the hill, plowed down some of my trees accidentally. It's going to be one of those issues, man, you know. And yeah, he was making racket till after dark in that bobcat, so that wasn't a help. But machinery deer don't pay much attention to. You know, their farm machinery's around them all the time. But this was pretty close to my stand, and yeah. Anyhow, so that was the experience. Now I was gonna get up this morning, same time, same channel, and go hunt again. But it started raining real good last night on the roof of the motorhome. You could hear it. I love the rain on the motorhome roof, but it's loud. and big gusts of wind, and it was going to be windy this morning, but no rain. And I thought, I'll go. I'm going to hunt every minute I can during this next 5 days. I think southern Wisconsin here right now, the rut is full on, and your best chance of getting a deer is right now, from now through Sunday. Saturday, I think, is going to be the best day to get your deer if you are in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. By far the best day, because that cold snap's coming in. It's going to be the coldest. I think Saturday morning is going to be the best day. So if any of you guys want to get out hunting and you're in that area, that's where you should go be. But we're going to try and do it, and we'll see what we can do. I want to get one nice buck in before we get this house built, because I don't know how it's going to affect it in the future. I think the hunt will be overall much better once we're full in this property, because I'm going to do a lot of additions, changes, and frankly just work to improve the deer habitat, the food, and the holding capacity, and add a lot of things that just put our property over and above the ones around us as far as things to attract and hold deer, and mostly by the way of food plots and bedding areas. We're going to increase the bedding areas, give them more cover, and we're going to bring in as many different varieties of food as we can. Some of it's for us, some's for them. We're going to bring in fruit trees. The one field that's set up like perfectly for a food plot, we're going to bring in some stuff that'll carry them through late winter. We got plenty of crops all around us, tons of corn and soybeans as far as the eye can see, so they're good there. But once those crops come out of the field and you've got, the straggler grain, they're out picking those fields for whatever. It's that late winter, very early spring where you need to keep them fed. And if you want to keep them on your property, you get them something that is there for them to eat. Brassicas, different root plants, cereal grains, stuff like that. You can put in late stuff that'll attract and hold them. So if your property offers better food, wider variety, better tasting, and you got nice comforts for them to sleep, where are they going to go? Right? Plus, we've got a ton of cover and just good property. Good property. It's going to be really fun. And I think, frankly, that's why this property right now is holding so many deer. It's got great cover, great bedding areas. It's isolated and sees no pressure. I'm the most pressure those deer have seen in years. And that's the other thing. You want to stay out of those areas. You don't want human intrusion in those areas. Keep it to a minimum. And if you are going to go back into where they're hanging out, you make plenty of noise going back there so they know you're coming. It's when you spook a deer that you start driving them off. Anyhow, as best we can, because that's it's kind of egotistical actually thinking that you can control the deer population on your property. You can't. They're spread out. They come, they go. But you can hold those that maybe make your property the center of their range. As far as buck to doe ratio, stuff like that. You can certainly try to increase the genetic odds by taking out a smaller deer maybe that is never going to be a big deer. So you take a small buck one year or something. You don't have to take a monster every year. I mean, I could shoot 4 bucks this year, but am I going to? No. Why would I want to do that? That's horrible. I don't need 4 bucks. I'm not going to eat 4 bucks, so I'm not going to shoot them. But I'm going to do what makes sense. So anyhow, we've talked about, we'll get back to guns in a minute here. For those of you just joining, I hope you heard about the nationwide reprieve on the pistol brace issue. There's a nationwide injunction came out about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago. It may be, they may appeal it, who knows? But for now, that's the word. But like everything, check it out on your own first. Want to show you the bow we bought. Bows are firearms, right? Sort of, kind of, not really. And they're not guns. That being said, YouTube, I'm not showing a gun. I'm not going to show a gun. We're going to show you a bow and arrow. That's all. Anyhow, someone here says, I have 3 bows, Matthew Solo Cam, a random Browning, and Oneida Phantom. So the hot bows today are Matthews and Hoyt, really. Those are probably the 2 top ones. In my day, PSE was a big thing. They're still around, good company. They made some awesome bows back then. Bear was probably the first on the scene, right? He was the one that first made them affordable. Fred Bear was an incredible marketer. Built some pretty nice bows too, an incredible hunter. But Fred Bear is a really interesting person. If you've never read anything about him or read any of his books, watched any of his documentaries or hunting videos, which back in the day wasn't like today where he had all these hunting videos out and influencers and YouTube. He was one of the first to actually get some amazing hunts on film and put them out there. And he'd be in these magazines and they'd or newspaper articles written about the bear hunt he did or whatever. But really an incredible person and incredible story about the company. So before Fred Bear came along, if you wanted a bow, you had to find somebody, first of all, that was a bow maker and beg and plead them in his spare time to make you a bow. And then, hey, what do I owe you for that? And it was a lot of money, right? Until Fred Bear figured out a way to make a good laminated bow at a price everybody could afford. And then, of course, compounds came in after recurves and all that, and it really took off. Fred Bear invented the laminating process and the fiberglass. It's a special one-directional fiberglass that he actually invented. It came from the automotive market, and he used it to make the first laminated limbs. So now you could mass produce limbs. And if it wasn't for him, I guarantee you bow hunting would not be the thing it is today, because without him, bows were just not that affordable to the general public. Like probably a ton of you here, my first bow was a Bear whitetail hunter. And what made that bow cool, it was a metal riser, fiberglass limbs, not split limbs yet. And it had these, bogey wheels, not eccentric wheels or e-wheels, but just round wheels, cable system. But there were these other pulleys in between, and you could adjust the arms on those pulleys like this with an Allen wrench, and you could change 1, the draw weight, and 2, the draw length. So that bow could go from like 30 pounds to 65 pounds or something. Problem with them was there were so many cables, so many pulleys, so many everything that it was so noisy to shoot. But it drew nice. It was a long bow for a compound. And God, I killed a lot of deer with that thing. And I loved it. My girlfriend in high school bought it for me for my birthday. And I hunted with it. It was brown metallic painted, said Bear and Whitetail Hunter. And I spray painted. Back then, you couldn't get a camo bow. If you wanted a camo bow, you spray painted it, or maybe you bought these cloth sleeves. But that was it. Or there was tape, camo tape later on. But you bought Bear camouflage spray paint and spray painted your bow. And that's what I had done. And after that, I had a Bear Whitetail 2. Now, this was a split limb design and had eccentric wheels, No, still had regular wheels, but it was a real modernized compound. And man, I thought it was so cool. It came pre-camoed from the factory. Yeah, I still got it. It's in the back of my pickup. I haven't shot it in years, but um, that was my second bow. And then when my son got into archery, I bought a Bear RTH package. So Bear sets up a bunch of its bows with RTH packages, and RTH stands for Ready to Hunt. That means they come with a quiver, they come with a sight, they come with an arrow rest. The knock is already on there. What else? Sight, arrow rest, quiver. Oh, and usually a stabilizer. And when I bought this bow probably 10, 12 years ago, it was right around $300, maybe a little less, maybe $250. I don't know. For a really nice bow. I can't remember the name of it. It's in storage. I was going to hunt with it. It's fine. Perfectly fine, well-performing bow. Certainly light years above the first two Bears. Well, I was forced to buy another bow for this year because it's in storage. I couldn't get to it. So I did a lot of research, and I know how popular Matthews bows are in Hoyt, and I had thought about them, but they're a lot of money, and Bear bows can get to be a lot of money too. Their top of the line legacy lines are expensive. $1,500 somewhere in there without anything on them. And while I would love one, it just wasn't in the cards. And I was then thinking about one of the Ready to Hunt packages, but there were a few things on the 4 or 5 different Ready to Hunt bows that I didn't care for. Either they were solo cams, or they were the range. Frankly, the adjustability range was too great for me. You could literally shoot these things from like 10 pounds, 10 pounds to 70 pounds. And your draw length could be adjustable from 24 inches to 30 inches. To me, I see what they're doing. They're trying to make a bow that will grow with a kid, or a young adult could shoot, an older adult, whoever could shoot it, because it can adjust to anybody. But to me, there's got to be some trade-off there when you got a bow that can adjust that far, and there's got to be a trade-off somewhere. So anyways, the Alaskan was a nice bow, a few of the other ones, and it's hard model year changes too. There's always leftover bows from the year before, and then these. Anyways, I stumbled on one thing. I saw this camo pattern, and I knew right away what it was. Fred Bear had a famous camo pattern he used that reminded me of the Marines pattern back in the Pacific Theater in World War II. And don't you know, they're called their throwback editions. And they only put this camo on a few bows, and one of them was, guess what? One of them was where is it? I'm looking for it now. A whitetail. So my first one was a whitetail hunter. Next one was whitetail 2. This one is the Whitetail Legend. It's one of their Legend series bows, which is their top of the line. It's got their, what do they call them? Their Echo Cams, ECO, Echo Cam. And it's part of their, where's the other thing I'm looking for? Oh, I don't know if you can see it, but right here's a plate that says Legend series. And look at the throwback camo pattern. It's Fred Bear's famous legendary camo. And with the OD green riser, it was a great looking bow. But it didn't come with anything. So you had to do the stabilizer, and you need a wrist strap. And I'm going to go over to do videos and all this stuff. This is a Stinger micro hex stabilizer, and it's got the noise deadening stuff on here. You can add weight to it. We could also put stabilizers off the side and back. You need a wrist strap because you shoot with your hand open. You're not gripping a bow. You want to let that bow fall, and without the strap, it's going to fall out of your hands. For a rest, we did a drop away, and it's fully contained. So once I knock an arrow and it's in here, it won't fall off the rest anywhere. It'll stay there. And when you shoot, it falls away like that. And it sets itself or falls away because this cord is clamped to the cable, and when you draw it, it sets it and knocks it up. Sight Trophy Ridge, which I believe is owned by Bear, for the sight. And we've got for bow hunters, guys, this is nothing big. This is average stuff, but to people who don't bow hunt, they might not know. 5 pins here for your different yardages, and they're fiber optic, and we've got a level in here. There's a tool here to adjust it, and this thing's cool because once you adjust 2 pins, all the rest adjust by themselves. And it's lighted, so we can turn it on, and in the dark, and it'll light these pins like daylight. It's adjustable from 60 to 70 pounds, I believe it is. Let's see. I forget now. I'm running it at 65, and that's, let me get my glasses here. Oh, there they are. I'm running it a little lighter because I hadn't shot in so long. Yeah, I think it's 60 to 70. It was set at 70 from the factory. That's the high. I'm running it at I'm running about 60 right now. And that's plenty. You can take down a deer with 40 pounds. Here's the amazing thing with this bow. Used to be 50% let off was a big deal. So what that means, if you're shooting a 70-pound bow through the use of these cams and the cables and all, once you pull back the full draw, you're not holding 70 pounds back. 50% let off, you'd be holding 35 pounds. Well, these new bows, is this one in particular, I can adjust it to where I'm only holding 10%, 90% let off. So at 60 pounds, what is that? I'm holding what? 6 pounds back? It's nothing. It's nothing. You can hold it all day long. But we did it at 90 pounds, or 90% let off rather. It was weird. You'd start, like, if I pulled it back and then I start to release it, where I'm not going to let an arrow fly, I'm just going to let the string down. It's like I'm letting off. It's not going. It's almost loose, like, and then boom, it'll go. It's the weirdest feeling. It's almost like you got to push it forward. So I actually went down to like 80% let off, and that seems to be pretty good. Next season, or after the season's over, I'm going to crank these all the way down, and we'll be shooting 70 pounds because I got back in shape with it real quick. It's no problem for me to draw. So we had to add the sight, the stabilizer, the strap, the arrow rest. Put a D-loop. It's got a nice string silencer built in on this rod here. It's got silencers here from the factory, and then it's got the split limb dampeners on the top and bottom. These are just rubber pieces. Those come with it. But this quiver, anybody that's been bow hunting knows this quiver. These are called Quickies. They're made in Michigan, actually, for you Michigan guys. And I've had this quiver forever. It came off my Whitetail 2, my second bow. And since I was on a budget with this, I figured I'll use it. It works great, and it's quick release. I can get in a tree, take it off, hang it in a tree, and then I don't have that to move around and bang on stuff everywhere. Super compact bow. I think the whole thing's like 30 inches long, maybe. I don't know. Something like that. What else is on here? Anyhow, Yeah, these bears are 100% made in the USA. Difference between these and the super expensive top of the line ones is the risers will be machined out of billet as opposed to these being cast. And frankly, maybe I just didn't look on my older ones, but there's a cast line all the way up this. It's kind of rough for bear. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks nice, but they could have done a little work to get that down. It shoots amazing out of the box. So smooth, so quiet, so accurate. Bow technology, even in, I said, I'll shoot my old bow, no problem. It doesn't change that much. Wow, I was impressed. And this is nowhere near top of the line bow. I mean, Hoyt's got carbon fiber stuff out there. Matthews is the big thing, and I've never shot one. I probably should go to the shop and try one, but then I'd probably want one. But my first bow was a bear, my second bow was a bear, my third bow was a bear, and now my fourth bow is a bear. And every one of them has killed deer. Every one of them, I've never had a problem with one. Nothing. Zero problems. They just go and go and go. And I thought, why not? They're certainly the price leader, and they're kind of the working guy's bow, I guess, where everybody can afford one, and you can get one for your kids because they're so cheap. They're the only ones, really, I think, that have inexpensive youth bows. And archery's a great sport for kids. They get a workout from it. They learn a lot of fine motor movements, and they learn competition if you want them to. And it's something they can do outside instead of in front of a video game. And archery's fun, right? Safe. Maybe they want to hunt one day. Great. But there's plenty of stuff they can do with this. It's a sport you can do in the winter. You can go indoors to ranges. They've got 3D matches and targets the kids can shoot at, and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, nice. Machined aluminum pockets, which for this kind of money you just don't see. Look at the size of these cams. And you can adjust the draw length and everything on these without a bow press, which is cool because there's like an inner cam in here. So if you guys want to hear more about bows and stuff, I mean, I'm not some incredible knowledge base on bows, I know the bows I've had and how they work and a little bit of what to look for and not look for and that type of thing. But a lot has really changed in the 10 years since I was into it hot and heavy, or even like hunting. It's been 20 years with bows. I put it this way, I was shooting aluminum arrows the last time I was hunting. And now I don't even know if you can buy an aluminum arrow. All mine are carbon fiber. Let me show you this. This is where a lot of changes happened. I mean, these style sights have been around, but there are some that have so much technology in them that'll range it and everything. Just incredible. And even the risers with how, machined out they are and everything. They used to be solid. This whole bow weighs under 7 pounds. So it's like an AR, right? Super light. And that's without the sight, without this. But, well, maybe not. I don't know. It feels about that. It weighs nothing. I mean, nothing. Very well balanced, super nice. But let me show you the technology. And this isn't for those bow hunters out there that got 7 bows and all that. You guys know all this stuff. This is for somebody that's never done it before and wants to try it. So this is the arrow I shot at that buck yesterday. And it's another thing that's changed. So in my day, you had fixed broadheads, meaning you had what you would think of an arrowhead looks like, a 2-blade or a blade on each side, 1-blade arrowhead, steel, razor sharp like a razor blade, and then maybe 2 little bleeder off of it. And I always shot thunderheads or bear. I think Bear called them thunderheads too. But I shot the bear ones and the thunderheads. Well, all of a sudden you're hearing about these mechanical broadheads. I'm thinking, what is that? Well, they're tips or broadhead points that look like this, okay? And the point to them is you don't see any razor blades there, right? This is all, I can touch it all and everything. There's a point here, right here. But the reason to have this is when you got a big razor head, those are like wings, right? And they can drift, they can catch wind, air, whatever. It can throw them off a little bit. They don't always hit where you're aiming, where you have to adjust your sights or whatnot because they fly different, even though they're the same weight. So they went to these where they basically look like a field point until it hits the animal. When it hits the animal, and these are a little different, but these side things, this is 3-bladed. When it hits the animal, the point here, and it's sharp on the sides, there's like razors here. But when the initial point hits, then these hit the outside of the target, the hide, whatever, and it pushes them open like this, and like this, and like this, and you have your broadhead. So look at that, guys. That's what's coming at that animal. That's 2.5-inch spread. So it's making a 2.5-inch cut. 3 of them coming in, right? And it flies normally, and then it deploys on contact like that. So it's making a hole that big and coming out even bigger. So the pros to these over regular tips are that supposedly they will fly better or more like your normal tips. They won't catch the wind and drift a little bit, that type of thing. The cons, and they've gotten much better since they came out, but when they came out, they were junk. They really were. Cons are they're not as durable. They can bend, they can break. Other things too, depending on your shot, like a straight on side shot, they'll probably do just fine, but there's some shots where people report that they're not deploying properly, that they're not opening up. And when I pulled this thing out of the ground, only one of them was opened up like that. The other 2 weren't. Now, that was the ground, I don't know, or possibly when I pulled it out of the ground, it closed them, I don't know. But I don't see why it wouldn't. I mean, they deploy easy enough as it is. There was, and this has been shot, there was mud packed into these little slots where they go into, so I couldn't even close them. I had to use a bunch of tools and brushes and high pressure water to clean them all out and get them to work again. These are 100 grain tips. I'm not, like I said, this is not, I don't know these like I know guns, okay? But these are 6.5, what is it? Easton 6.5s, whatever the hell a 6.5 is. But the spine, I believe, is a 340. So that's what we're shooting. They used to be different, the way they call them or the way they measured. I don't know what 6.5 is, if that's the line or the thickness or what, but in 100 grain heads, kind of standard stuff. The trend, I guess, lately is to go to super heavy heads and arrows, but another drawback to these is you don't get full pass-through shots usually with these mechanicals, from what I understand. If you guys hear differently, let me know in the comments. I bought these because the owner of the shop said to try these. They're Spitfires, they're called, made by NEC or something. Anyhow, he also said hypodermics, Rage hypodermics, but these were cheaper, so I got these. But I'm thinking about going back to standard fixed broadheads, thunderheads, like I always shot. You don't have to worry, did they open, did they not? Yeah, they don't make a 2 1/4 inch hole. Some of these things will make like a 2 3/4 inch hole. They're nuts. They look medieval, like barbaric. Not that that doesn't look medieval enough, right? Look at that. But I've always sort of shot a little different than other people. Most people, and I blame this on 3D targets. So 3D targets, if you get one that looks like a deer, they have a replaceable centerpiece where you're shooting your arrows all the time. You can replace that centerpiece. You don't have to buy the whole target. And where do they put that replaceable part, guys? Always like right back, almost toward the middle, sort of where the lungs are, but almost back toward the guts, right? And so you're shooting way back of the shoulder and high on the animal. I have always shot super low in the V pocket of the leg bone and shoulder bone there. Super low heart shot all the time. So I aim, because of the duck of the animal and everything, I aim right at the bottom line of the animal, up in the shoulder, way more forward and way low. And that's where I put it. If I shoot a little bit high or something, that's fine. But you hit them in the heart, or even get the high part of the heart where, or above it, where all the arteries come off, and then the lungs are there, so you get cut an artery plus double lung the thing. That deer ain't going 30 feet, 30 yards, whatever. Can they go further? Sure. But you take that heart, they're going down so fast, there ain't much tracking involved. And there's so much blood, it's like somebody painted the road with blood. You don't have to be a skilled Native American tracker, let's just say, to find them. You know, guys will take other shots and get a trickle of blood and it seals up and they don't find the animal, you know. So I've always made sure that I could hit that area. It's where I aim, in the old aim small, miss small. And those broadheads did just fine. If I hit them with one of these, holy Christ, I don't know if they'd make it 15 yards. I mean, they'd be pumping some juice, let's just say. Anyhow, yeah, so this was all new to me. These didn't really even exist the last time I was bow hunting. We had plain old regular stuff, carbon fiber arrows. We had aluminum. These are all carbon fiber. The day when I was hunting, I was using super long fletching, you know, like 4-inch fletching, and much heavier arrows than these. God, I can't believe, 70 pounds and I'm shooting this thin, light little arrow. But that's what they recommended, and that's what I did. These huge cams are amazing. What else? Other than that, this changed more than anything else on the bow, really. So that took some getting used to, I guess. But I think I'm going to go back to the standard broadheads. Look at the razors. Can you guys see that? They're literally razor blades. See how they're sharpened? And that's all broadheads like that. And then these two edges here are super sharp too. This is like a mini arrowhead, and then solid. So they've made these a lot stronger than when they first came out. Like I said, this one hit the dirt full on and survived. Didn't even bend any of the blades. I mean, they're straight. They go into, you probably can't see on camera here, but there's slits on the side here that they go into. And there's a little piece of metal in their spring steel that kind of puts pressure on it to hold them down. When these first came out, you had things like O-rings. You had to put a little O-ring around them to hold them in. And that would, when it hit the end, well, they didn't always break. Or they broke completely. But yeah, they fold up, and that's what you're shooting. And those outer, I call them tulip petals, hit the hide and open it up. So pretty neat. Pretty neat. I'm not saying it's I don't want you to think I didn't know about these things. I did, but I just didn't use them. They weren't as big a deal back then. Anyhow, it's certainly cool. And I certainly wish I had not missed that buck this morning, yesterday morning. But we're going to get out tomorrow morning and try it again. And I'll let you know how it goes. So let's talk about the 2A EDU shoot that we attended last weekend. So we went to Michigan for our third annual 2A EDU get together / hangout. Can't believe it's been 3 years already. I've been going there. He invited me out that first year. I had been one of his early watchers of his live streams when he had, like us, 20 people in here watching. Now he's, hitting 600 and higher. It's amazing. But he does such a great job. Anyhow, he invited me that first year. It was just friends local to him there in Michigan, people getting together to do a little shooting and eat some good food afterwards, share stories, that kind of thing. And I don't even really remember how, but I got invited. Or maybe he announced it and I texted him or something, said, hey, would you mind if I came out? Because he's a pretty big AK guy. He likes everything, but he's a bigger AK guy than most casual watchers might think. And he knew, of course, I'm an AK guy. He says, yeah, by all means, come on out. In the first year, I don't know what I brought. Everybody kind of brings a few things to shoot. And I don't remember quite what I brought the first year. I know there was an AK or two in there. Last year, I brought the MP, or the, what did I bring? Yeah, I guess I did bring the HK. I brought the HK, brought a couple AKs, and I might have brought the Tavor, if I'm not mistaken. And then last year, Chris from Marksman TV was there with the World War II full auto guns. We had a VAR there, and a German Schmeiser, and that was fun, and the food was amazing. But both years, especially last year, I was late. Number one, I was dealing with time change, like a 5-6 hour ride, get up super early, drive to Michigan, hang out, shoot on the range all day, have a bite to eat, some good conversation, and then a 5-hour ride home and have to go to work the next day. Or no, usually didn't have to go to work the next day, but just a long day. And last year, I overslept or forgot about it. I forget which. And then finally got going and then realized the time change, and I was exhausted. So this year, we didn't plan ahead, really. I didn't even realize it was coming up till just a week or two ago, but got a hotel the night before and the night of. So I stayed 2 nights, which it was expensive, but well worth it in the end, because Sunday I had a really pleasant ride home. Wasn't tired that day. I mean, last year I got there, I was dead when I got there and even deader when I was leaving. And I wanted to stay longer, and just didn't work out that way. So it was nice to have the hotel this year. Got there Saturday right about 12:30 or so, and we stayed only like a 15-minute ride from there. It was held at Pillbox Bunker's house again. He's a great guy. Him and his wife, they got a beautiful home, beautiful property with a pond and his own private range, and he's held it all 3 years, and that's a big deal. That's opening your house up to these members or friends of the channel that you may know super well. You may not know them that well. Let's say most of us, everybody knows everybody now, but people show up, that are invited. It's a big deal to open your house like that, especially for something like shooting firearms and all that. And they do a nice job setting it up with the firing line. and they tape it and everything so it's safe, to keep everybody there safe. So that was awesome. And it was nice to get there, like I said, refreshed and ready to go. I had a nice slept till like 11, so that was crazy for me. But anyway, got there rested. And I can't tell you, so this is my 3rd year going there. I can't tell you how amazed I was. I mean, I pulled in the driveway, and from the minute I opened the car door, everybody was like, welcome, open arms. I mean, his bunker pulled up. He had his tractor going with a trailer behind it. Said, load all your gear and I'll take it down to the range, because it's a little bit of a walk. And when you got camera gear and all these rifles and stuff, it takes 2, 3, 4 trips back and forth to the car, and it's heavy. And so that was nice. And then 2 AEDU's girlfriend showed up, and she big hug and thanks for coming and everything. I joke that it's his girlfriend, it's his wife. It's a old joke we have. He used to refer to it as his girlfriend being on the channel, you know. Anyway, she showed up, and she said, you saved some room for corn muffins, right? And I said, oh yeah, she makes these corn muffins, dude, they're to die for. They got make them with cream corn in them. I could just butter and be perfectly happy. I'll get into the food later. So in a way, I was hoping we'd have another surprise YouTuber there, like Marksman TV last year, bringing those cool things, but it's fine without it. Turns out I was the guest star. I was the big shot there. Yeah. Yep. That's me with all 7 watchers here and 7,800 subscribers. Yep, that's me. I was the big shot, the talent, the famous whatever. Yeah, sure. Now, anyhow, I saw Ross and Dale and all these guys that over the couple of years now in my channel and that channel, we've gotten to know each other, and we have great conversations. The ringer. Who's the ringer? Yeah. It's just a fun time. So the big thing this year, last year he started it. 2AEDU has a Palmetto State Armory G3 AK. And he had just gotten it last year, and he wanted to kind of torture test it. Or not necessarily torture test it, but see if it's going to hold up to, you know, some serious firing, some serious round count. So last year they put 1,000 rounds through it in an hour, and they want to see what would happen. So they put 1,000 rounds through it, and then I had the opportunity to inspect it afterwards on a brief little live stream we did right from there. I was dead tired at the time, but all the parts, the bolts, the trunnions, the tail of the carrier, everything got through it just fine. So over the year that passed from last year to this year's shoot, he had put roughly another 1,000 through it. So it had 2,000 rounds on it. And looking good. Hadn't cleaned it, hadn't lubricated it other than when it was new. So fast forward to this year, he's going to put another 1,000 rounds through it. So I found out late, and of course he invites me, and he was talking about not having enough ammo to do this test and yada yada. So I posted on his live chat last week. I said, well, I'll donate 1,000 rounds. Unbeknownst to me, I typed that in 5 minutes. He didn't see it right away, and unbeknownst to me, he starts talking that someone's donated 2 Spam cans full of ammo. So he's got enough to cover it. He's worried about mags, but he came through at mags. And I said, well, I told you I'd donate the 1,000. I'm still going to donate it. No problem. If you want to run 2,000 rounds through it, you're more than welcome. And man, you'll have 4,000 rounds through this gun. We'll see what happens, right? I go to get the ammo out of a storage container that's jammed with everything. it literally took me 2 hours to get to back where I'm crawling through. I got a hole and I grab a case and I pull it out. And I'm so tired and sweaty, I throw it in the truck and I go. And it wasn't till I was leaving the hotel going there that I realized, like looking at it, and there's like, I don't know, not enough room for a full layer, but I think I had maybe restacked this case. There was only 800 rounds in it. So I figured, well, between everybody there, we could probably come up with another 200. But I'm not going to, I don't want to be, I know he's going to do a video on it. So I don't know if I should really tell you the outcome of it. For any of you guys that were there, what do you think? Should I leave it to 2A-EDU to tell you guys what happened? Last year I did a video. If you want to see a video from last year, showing the the BAR, the full auto BAR, and the German Schmeiser running full auto, you can go check out last year's video. But I got that out, and I think he put one out about the same time. But this is a little different with the test. I didn't talk about his test really last year. I don't know if he wants to put it out. Well, he can put the video out there. I'll tell you what we did. I'm not going to tell you how the gun turned out and the whole thing. We had a few hiccups, let's just say, along the line. And I'll make it, guys are going to be like, oh my God, what happened? Not going to tell you. I'm going to let him tell you. But they loaded up the 1,000 rounds. It was Romanian spam can ammo, sealed in a spam can, brand new. He opened it, and they loaded the mags, and they had 1,000 rounds ready to go. He started it off, and then we all joined in shooting mags and just kind of round robin. Whoever wanted to shoot, shot. And we were doing 1 or 2 mags each for a while, just going through it. And then he put the last mag through of the 1,000 of the Romanian. And he had some issues. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say what issues. I'm just going to leave it at that. It'll be a surprise. And he was going to be done. And because of some of the issues, I said, well, why don't we really see what this thing's doing and what it can or can't do? And let's run that other 1,000. He goes, you want to? I said, yeah, I brought the ammo for that. Let's do it, you know. So we did it. We ran that other 800 rounds through there. Yeah, I think we finished that one. I'm pretty sure we did that maybe half the time. And it didn't have a ton of, it cooled down in between the first 1,000 and the next one. Oh, 280's in here. Great. I just said, if you didn't hear me, I just said I don't want to really tell them what went on with your test. I thought I'd leave that to you. All I said was during the testing, we had some issues during the testing. Didn't say what kind of issues. I don't know if you wanted me to put that out there or not, or if you want to tell them. It's your shoot and everything. I don't want to be that guy, you know, hanging out and donating the ammo. I'm working on the video. Cool. So I'm not going to tell them what happened. I'm going to leave it for your video, okay? All I said was there were some issues. That's all. But we did run the 1,000 in an hour, under an hour. It cooled off, and he inspected it, and he just, I'll tell you this about it. You'll see it in the video. It was cool. He did a water bottle test on it, pouring water, and it's spraying everywhere, and then he shot it. And I'm watching my video that I shot of it, and you can see the steam water spray coming back in his face. And I thought, man, that's got to be super heated coming back on you. And he said something how hot it was. But in the video, it looks so cool. He had this muzzle brake on it that worked extremely well. I don't know. He told me what kind it was. He'll tell you here. I forget. But I don't know if I'd buy one. It's fairly inexpensive. But we did get a lot of gas in the face from it. In other words, it did its job exceptionally well, almost too well. I felt like the angles were too far straight back. They should have been more out to the side. But it did a great job controlling any muzzle movement or jump, that kind of thing. The gun still looked fabulous. As always, I commented last year on the finish. Comfortable to shoot. I will tell you this. I was watching the first couple guys shoot, and I'm thinking, I don't know if this gun's all that accurate, you know? And then I took the first few shots, and I didn't feel like it was hitting where I was aiming. And I thought, well, is it just me? Or maybe it was some of the gas or whatever. I don't know what it was doing, but I just wasn't hitting the steel plate on the first 4 or 5 shots, and we weren't shooting all that far. I mean, maybe 30-some yards, 35 yards, 32 yards, I think someone said. I'm like, huh. Well, then I settled in, and bam, bam, bam. I'm actually pretty impressed with the accuracy, because I don't know if anybody else saw it, but later in the day, you know, gun testing, ammo testing can be a pain, a chore, let's just say. It sounds real cool when you first start out, those first 6, 8, 10 mags, whatever. Well, somewhere around mag 6,222, you're like, oh my God, when's it going to be over? You know, it wasn't so bad because we had a lot of people shooting, but even so, it's just, it gets boring. So you're shooting downrange and you're like, okay, what can I do now? Maybe we can go for the big 4 of American Songbirds, you know, or something. I don't know. Hyperfire, that was the thing. And I've heard good things about them. Just, man, it was a lot of gas. But that, a little of that could maybe be attributed to something else. I'll let you talk about it. I was just thinking about it. That's all. But anyhow, it was more accurate than I thought, because we had a steel silhouette target down there, whatever they are, 1/3 size, IPSC, whatever. So I started taking headshots, you know, and trying to clip right up at the top edge, just iron sights. And I was just popping them in there one after the other. Ping, 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 ping. So, I mean, they were all in. The head on that thing's probably about that big. And I was hitting all on the top half of it. And so after all those rounds and all that heat and everything else and other things that go along with it that he'll tell you about, the thing was, in my opinion, really accurate. Now, if I was just popping a 18-inch gong or something and they're hitting all over, well, who knows? But even though it's only 30 yards, hitting essentially a 2-inch by maybe 1-inch area and hitting it every round almost out of a 20-round mag, unless I flinched or something, yeah, that's pretty accurate. At 100 out of irons, I'm sure that it's on. It's certainly within minute of man, and I'm not going to guess as to what the MOA with irons would be, but a good shooter on that gun, I would think, could pull off 2 MOA easy, I'm thinking. Especially all that heat and not being cleaned and not being lubed and different types of ammo and all kinds of stuff. Super, pretty damn accurate gun. I took a close look at it. All the rivets seemed good. The trunnions seemed to be holding up pretty well when I looked at it right when we started, you know. I'll let him tell you how things looked when he ended. But, yeah, it just good gun is what I thought when we started going. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I think everybody that shot it enjoyed it. I was surprised at one thing. And that was the fact that one person said that, hey, I've never shot an AK before. I have no idea how to operate this. Can someone help me? Sure, no problem. There was maybe one other person, I can't remember, that you could tell AKs were new to them. And that is what kind of shocked me a little bit. I guess I probably shouldn't be shocked, but AKs are pretty damn common. Well, I would say in the US, probably the second most common rifle of its kind, you know, the first being the AR, and then AK is probably a close second. There's a ton of them here, guys. So I was a bit surprised with their popularity of recent years. Not everybody, new people coming in and see their reaction. But and I'm not saying it not an AK before. I'm not saying it that way. I was surprised. That's all. You know, everybody there's pretty much gun guys, and this certain person had a ton of other firearm experience, but had never fired an AK. And actually, kudos to him for saying, hey, this is new to me. Can somebody show me? Rather than get up there, try to fumble your way through it, make a mistake, do something. He has enough sense and enough experience with firearms that he knows, hey, if I'm not 100% for him and know everything about it, maybe I should ask and be safe. So that was cool. I'm not saying it to be a dig at all. And maybe it's just I get jaded to it a bit because, you know, we're an AK channel for the most part. And you just see so many and you read so much. And, you know, yeah, it's kind of cool that there's some people out there that haven't experienced it yet. So, you know, where AK channels, even 5 years ago, there weren't many. There were a couple, a few, maybe a handful, including mine and some very big stars of AK-ness. Where today it's so huge, and that's partially been responsible for the rise in pricing on them and the popularity and sort of how they're, you know, some variants and whatnot are hard to lay your hands on sometimes. So there's pros and cons to the growth and acceptance of the platform, where it's cool to see it become popular and common. It's sort of a drawback when your little niche that you could get anything, buy anything, you knew where to find things and all that is now overtaken by a ton of people. By the same token, you think, well, there's so much AK content out there that as someone that started their channel on AKs, after a while, you're like, well, I got to branch into other stuff because people just, how much more can they hear about AKs, you know? It kind of gave a breath of life to my idea of what to do at the channel, because it just showed there's still people out there that aren't that familiar, that like the platform, that want to know more about it, and are going to go out there looking for that information. So, yeah, there's still content to be made and content to be done, and gave me some ideas too for, you know, helping new shooters with it. I mean, I've done how to break one down, how to clean one, the basics of it, but, you know, videos get old and they fall out of context maybe as to which particular variant you were shooting maybe isn't the most popular one anymore, or it just ages out and the algorithm doesn't show it or something, who knows. But we can certainly go back in and do some more, or do a different take on a few things, and that's what we're going to do. So it was neat to see that. And he shot it very well too. And if I remember right, I can't remember if it was a different person and I'm confusing it, or if it was the left-handed shooter. The one guy was a lefty there, and he said something, well, it's ejecting far enough forward, I should be just fine. And I think maybe a couple people thought, well, maybe it's going to be hard for him to shoot or this or that. Man, he was hammering it right out of the gates, you know. He did a really nice job as one, a lefty, as two, someone that hadn't had much experience with one. So it was cool to see that. So we put those rounds through it. I think it was 2,800, if I'm not mistaken, was what we had planned. And yeah, I'll let 2A tell you the rest about that in his video. I think you'll be surprised at a few things, but you're going to have to watch the video to find out. We had a visitor, couple political visitors, friends of his that he goes out with and gets together with and shares ideas and works toward keeping your Second Amendment rights intact in the state of Michigan and elsewhere. But I'm going to have to stand up for a second, guys, just to show you something here. So this super nice young lady showed up, and she's a Michigan State representative. Her name's Jamie Thompson from the 28th District. And super nice lady. Her and her husband showed up, and we were talking a little bit. It's always neat to see how ordinary and everyday these folks are. You know, they're no different than you or I. They've just devoted their lives to these offices, you know, and it's a big deal. But, you know, they have the same everyday frustrations that we do, and with everything from political things to everyday things, you know. It's like getting together with your family, you know. They're everyday, ordinary people. They have kids, they have lives, they have work, they pay taxes. I think sometimes we sort of see them as this untouchable other side that, oh, how are they representing me? I don't get to talk to these people. Or maybe these people are, you think they're not in touch with today's happenings, but they are. They truly, truly are. And she was a super nice lady. She got up and shot a little and had some fun. And at the end, 2AEDU was giving out some swag that he had to some of the guys, stickers and patches, hats, magazines, all kinds of crap. And well, I like my stickers. I put them on every car I've had. This is going on the same way with last year's. One from the first year, and I could get it from you. I'd love to have it because I'd have all three. Then the first one went away with the car I traded in for my truck, but I'd like to have all three on there. That'd be cool. Anyhow, he was giving out stuff and swag, and remember those stickers he was giving out the other night, some of the rare ones, like the banana mag one from Palmetto State. I got all those stickers, and I wanted you guys to have them and the other guys to have them, but he had a bunch of these pocket constitutions, and Jamie had provided these to him. And it's nice to have. I always wanted one of these little pocket ones. I said, let me have one of those. And I actually went back to the hotel room that night, and I started reading. And of course, I've read it a million times in school, everything. But I sat in the beginning, of course, is the Declaration of Independence. There you go. I got this new light that, I don't know, where's my camera, or the camera does weird things when it senses the light or doesn't sense it. Anyhow, I start there and I'm reading through. And 2AEDU says it all the time, and I laugh because I feel the same way. When he says, and some of you guys might think, well, that's just a line. That's just what he's saying because, you know, he wants to get us interested in it or something. You know, that he talks about how they're beautiful documents, the most beautiful documents in the world. But it sounds a little corny almost, right? Coming from us manly men that get out there and firearms and testosterone, right? but it's true. I marvel every time I read it, because I put it maybe in a little bit different context than other people might, but I look at it like, if you change the founding fathers' clothes and hairstyles and everything else, they could be very at home today, or at least they were forward thinking enough. It boggles my mind how well maybe they didn't. I guess we don't know if they were obviously looking to the future, but there's no way they could have ever known some of the challenges we see today, or inventions, or the way media has changed. I was talking with someone about the printing press versus today's computers and social media, and the way that some folks have twisted our laws and our courts and everything else. But when you read it, and you're looking at it on paper, you're not hearing it from someone else, and you look at it on paper, and something goes ding, oh my God, that's just like what's going on today. And then a sentence, oh my God, that's exactly what's happening today. The forethought, the way they put it together, how eloquent they were, their vocabularies. Obviously, it's a very proper vocabulary that they used and spoke on a daily basis versus the slang we tend to use today. But it's so interesting to read. And then I love when they're describing their grievances with the king of England back then, and they're going through what he's done to them and why they are declaring their independence. And as you read through them, you go, that's exactly what's going on right now. Right now. Each and every situation, from trade to this to that to everything, it's the same. It's what's going on now. Now, apparently, one of two things happen. Either they were, how's the best way to put this? Either they more easily jumped off the deep end or were easier to become upset, or the other hand, maybe, just trying to think, I lost my train of thought here. Either they were more easily upset and valued these rights and liberty more than we do today, which I'm pretty sure that's the truth. Or two, maybe we haven't been pushed quite to that extent just yet. But they also mentioned something about that in here, without looking it up here. I'm just going to say it's something like, until they're not comfortable any longer is when they're driven to the point of, So either they were more easily incensed by their losses of liberty, or we just haven't been pushed as far as they have. But just about every grievance in here has happened in recent history almost to a T in almost every instance. And I wonder, it makes you think, at what point do we say enough's enough? At what point? I thought, well, maybe it's because we don't have soldiers being pushed upon us and housed in our homes. Maybe that's the breaking point, right? Because they haven't done that yet that I know of. 280, you could probably say, oh, but yes, they have. No, I don't know. But I'm just using that as a whatever. But every point made when they're explaining why the Declaration of Independence, why they're declaring their independence, has happened in recent history. It's shocking. Well, what do they say? You are doomed, and history will repeat itself if you don't pay attention, right? Things that make you go, So I wanted a copy of this, if in some cases to refer to when I'm having a conversation or debate with people, or also to, be able to go back and say, well, here, and talk to somebody, educate them a little bit. It's nice to have, but on the other hand, it's just so much fun to read. And the way it's written, the forethought, the ingenuity, the ability to see so many ways, how they covered history and things can go any which way in the future, and they seem to have covered just about everything. It's amazing. It's amazing. Sometimes we look at history and we think anybody that predated us, especially if it's more than, recent history, 20, 30 years, you almost think, well, the longer ago it was, they must not have been as smart as us. They didn't have this knowledge back then or this technology. They didn't need it. Why? Because of this technology right here. That's why. And it's amazing. And I thank 2ADU and I thank Jamie Thompson for this copy. So I urge you to get one. It's fun. It's fun. You always got to go back in once in a while and just check in with it, reread it, get the mind and the juices flowing a little bit. But yeah, I truly enjoyed that. I actually fell asleep with that on my chest like this that night in the hotel. And yeah, it was a great time. I didn't talk about the food. The food was excellent as usual. I look forward to that. Corn muffins, pulled pork was exquisite. Even the little ham roll-ups, and what else did I have? Oh God, the mac and cheese, and yeah. And I wanted to stay a little longer, and maybe because we did a live stream the year before. But man, I figured it out. I was on my feet almost 8 hours straight, and it was cold, and it was drizzling for quite a while, probably half of it. And I was out there for 8 hours, and my knees were killing me so bad, and I was just tired. And then you put all that food in you, and I went, you know what? I gotta go. I was just so tired, and I want to apologize because I said goodbye to 2ADU and a lot of the guys there, but there were a bunch of you guys I didn't get to say goodbye to, namely, and I'm really upset with myself. Who was it? Hold on, they're trying to put an ad in here. Pillbox Bunker, I didn't get to say goodbye to, or his wife, and that upset me. But I'm sure he knows I appreciate everything that he did, and she did. They do a magnificent job. Everybody that contributed, it was fun. I was happy to donate the ammo. That was a pleasure for me. What a great town too. I've spent a lot of time in a lot of Michigan towns when I was going to school there, and the year or so I lived in Michigan after I graduated college. And I actually have a friend from this town where we got together. But it's such a pretty town, like most towns in Michigan. There's a lot of bigger small towns, if that makes sense to you. And they're well laid out, and they're just pretty. They're not, some towns can get gaudy with the the retail end of things and the signage and everything just flows there. It goes from a nice town, village, city, whatever, right into rural. So nice. Nice people, everything. There was a U of M game. Got to watch a little of that. That was awesome. Let's talk about this. This was interesting. And it has to do with the ammo crisis, so to speak. But in general, the cost, the price of anything involving firearms, or even for that matter, sporting goods today, I've come to the consensus that it's all nuts, because I'm on the way home and it's fairly early. I took my time. I got up in the morning. I had a nice breakfast. I had eggs and biscuits and gravy and everything at the hotel. Then I managed to sneak the 5 assault rifles out of the hotel right through the main lobby. That's always fun. One of these days, the elevator door is gonna open up and there'll be 2 officers standing there. Come with us, boy. Yeah. I've gotten good at strategically placing things on the luggage cart, so as to not raise any attention. Because after all, we're not there to create any problems. We're just there to keep our property safe. And leaving your stuff in a car in a hotel parking lot is not a genius move, guys. Don't risk it. So I bring them into the room. Luckily, a couple of them were, I'll just say, shorter. And even my long one, actually, my AR had a folding, what do you call it? A law folder on it. So even that was shorter. Almost 3 of them almost looked like computer cases, but 2 of them were a bit longer. You could tell, But I placed things on the luggage cart in a way, and then the luggage on top, and a couple jackets, and whatever. It works okay, but you do get a couple. If you're in the elevator with a bunch of people, and they're going down a few floors, and people are, you get the look. I had one guy ask me, "So, going shooting today?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" "No, not me. That's a violin." No, I don't know. But I find if you just right through the lobby, nobody says nothing. Anyhow, got up, had breakfast, went back up to the room, packed up, relaxed a little bit, and then hit the road. And it was a beautiful day to drive. I almost had wished that I had another day there, or that I had called some of the guys that live close, and maybe we could have got together and done something else, but probably should have. But anyhow, I start driving, and I'm like, it's the one thing I like to do when I travel. I love to visit gun shops in other states, or pawn shops are a great one. Find some deals. And 2AEDU had always talked about his local gun dealer down there. I thought if I heard the name, I'd remember it. But anyhow, I used Siri, and I said, Cabela's near me, or something like that. And it didn't bring up anything along my route, really. So I said, gun shops near me. And one of the first ones that popped up was Sportsman's Warehouse. Now, like many of you, I'm sure, Sportsman's Warehouse I know more as a mail order catalog or a website, right? One of those big box outdoor sporting goods dealers. Hunting, shooting, that kind of thing. And we don't have a brick and mortar Sportsman's Warehouse where I'm from. Not in Illinois when I lived there, and not in Wisconsin. So I'm like, I used to get the catalogs and look, and there were always some deals. And if I remember right, they once in a while had some surplus and stuff. But I thought, well, why not? It said it's only 6 minutes out of my way or something. So I pull in, and I'm excited, right? I walk in and see I needed some hunting clothes camo, and they had so little. I was like, huh. They got like a couple patterns, and things are mismatched. They don't have pants to go with shirts. And then they had this one line that was like the one that looked like, oh, that would do. Till I looked at the price tag and almost fell out of my chair, like $350 for a jacket or something. I'm like, what? I thought this is an outlet thing, you know? I guess it's not really well, I think they do operate sort of like an outlet, maybe, where they get kind of the leftover stock. Either that or it's a sad excuse for a sporting goods store, because every aisle of stuff, different thing, whether it was reloading, hunting apparel, bow hunting stuff, was sorely lacking, like the worst selection I've ever seen. In the reloading aisle, they had some bullets, but terrible selection compared to like my local Fleet Farm. Like we have at that store, at my store, 6 to 8 times the selection of bullets. They did have more powder, or no, about the same powder wise. Primer section was terrible. They had some small rifle primers up by the counter, where by us we got lots of primers now. Ammo. This is Sportsman's Warehouse, right? I remember I see the advertisement stuff, decent prices, whatever. Not the greatest, but decent. I could not believe the prices. If those prices are what you guys in Michigan are paying at retail stores, you got to have your heads examined or go somewhere else to buy ammo. The cheapest 9mm they had there was over $20 a box. 223, they had nothing. I mean, where Fleet Farm, there's 30 different styles. I can get a crate of 420 or 100 or 250 and Winchester and Federal and all this stuff. They had nothing, and all of it from the cheapest stuff. Blazer was over $20 a box, where I just bought some Blazer 9 for like $14.95 or $13.95 or maybe even $12.95. Retail, brick and mortar, I could not believe the ammo prices. I'm not quoting anything exact, but everything I looked at was way more than what I pay in Wisconsin or even Illinois for that matter. So that was shocking. Go over to look at the bows, and they had nothing. They had a left-handed bow. They had some kids' bows. They had some brand I never heard of. And yeah, there was nothing to look at. Crossbows, gone, sold out, or didn't have them. I don't know if they get the leftovers there, or if it's just like outlet store. I don't know. Not sure, but it sure seemed like it. Like they only got these, like the hunting clothes too. They'd have a 3X and a 2X and a small. Nothing in between at all. And now I realize it's hunting season and maybe the stuff's picked through or sold out. But yeah, geez. The gun section, a lot of shotguns. Couple interesting things. They had a VR80. 22s, hunting rifles. They had a Colt, nice Colt M4. I think maybe they were running a sale, but because they had a bunch of them, and those were like $1,000. Not great, not bad. It's a Colt if you wanted an M4, but just not a lot of anything. Even accessories, bow hunting accessories, not a ton of stuff. I just wasn't impressed at all, at all. I thought it would be a lot better or more fun or more to look at or whatever, but ammo prices were the most shocking. I was like, gosh. So when I went to Fleet Farm the other day to get my hunting clothes, I checked it. Yeah, our prices are still where they're at. I don't get it. I don't get it. They must not sell much ammo there if that's not the norm. I hope it's not the norm for your guys' sake. But yeah, let's see what you guys are saying here in the comments and see who else showed up here. Oh, we said hi to Ross and Dale. Chase is here. Chase started with recurves, and then first compound was a bear whitetail in the tree branch plain pattern from early 90s. Crazy difference. Yeah. So my bear whitetail 2, I don't know if it's a tree branch, but it was green with some black in it. But if you have the original whitetail, the whitetail hunter, mine was brown, but those came in green, brown. Every year they'd change the color a little. I don't ever remember them coming in a camo, maybe at the very end. But I got mine in about 1980, probably 81, 82, somewhere in there was my first bow. And then the whitetail 2 came after that. And then this other one, it's a curve or a flex or I don't know. And now this whitetail legend, which is an awesome bow. But I've had all bear just because it's what I know. They're inexpensive, and in my opinion, they're a great deal for the money. But it's cool that everybody seems to have started on a bear whitetail, don't they? Or something similar. There were Alaskans and grizzlies and all kinds of stuff. Polar, remember the polar bear polar bear bow? Chase, I'm going to go with Hoyt if my Parker ever fails. But 23 years and old Hunter mag still shooting great. Just got new strings. I bought my daughter a Parker. She's a lefty. I bought her a right-handed bow, and I'm wondering, poor kid, she draws it back, and she's aiming, and I see her going like this, bringing the string over here and trying to look over. I said, what are you doing? You're just trying to sight it, Daddy. She was a little, and then I did the test with her, and oh, my God. So I grabbed her bow. I said, here, that's your sister's now. Come on, we're going to the store. And I got her a Parker, and she still has it. It's like new. I asked her if she wanted to sell it or something. She said, no, I'll hold on to it, Dad. She can still shoot it. Yeah, but they're so much different. That's how my Oneida is, 80% let off. Oneida, I never heard. I think I've heard of them. Well, up north, I was from Oneida County, but maybe I heard of the boat company Oneida. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. Is it Jenny come lately, or they've been around? I think they've been around a long time, right? Are they still making new bows? I've had 2 Dartons. There's a name I haven't heard. It's cool to go back. It's kind of like guns, right? There were brands that were much more popular back in the day, especially some of the inexpensive ones that are, they're still around. Charter Arms, remember that? What were some old gun company names you guys can think of that might not be household names today, but yet we still all remember them? But with bows, there's a lot of that. Darton. God, I forgot about Darton. Funny. Yeah, I want to go through some of this bow stuff, then we'll get back. I have 3 bows, a Matthew Solo Cam, a Random Browning, and a Oneida Phantom. So I never owned a recurve. I've shot them before. I do have a PSE longbow. It's a hunting bow. And I had to learn how to string it and all that, and this is not all that long ago. It belonged to my father-in-law. He bought it one day. We were at Cabela's, and I was shooting with the kids. We had gotten the kids' compounds, and I was shooting. He wanted to come out and shoot. He loved coming out in the country by us and just doing whatever, One day I show up, and my son and two of his best friends and my father-in-law are in the backyard. And my father-in-law is showing them the lovely art of shooting flaming arrows straight in the air and then everybody running. I'm like, who's the grandfather here? And who's... But you can tell the day and age that I come from, my father-in-law came from, when that's, the lawn dart years, Yeah, I pull in the driveway and I look, and he's like this straight in the air, and my son's shooting flaming arrows up. Hey, Dad, come look what Grandpa showed us how to do. God. Fun. But anyhow, he wanted something to shoot with us, so he bought a PSE longbow at Cabela's. And he gave it to me not all that long ago, and I started messing around with it. And they're different because you don't draw back and aim, and you don't have a sight because you got an arrow shelf, and I call it point shooting, I guess. You don't have a sight, anything. You just learn where your point of aim. You sight down the arrow and you draw, and when you get to your anchor point, you immediately release. At least that's how he shot, and sort of how he showed me, and how I remember from being a kid shooting that kind of thing. But it's certainly fun. It's certainly got enough power to take a deer. And I think after I have my initial fun at the new property and get one of these nice bucks, I think I may just try that longbow hunt. It brings me around to another point, and it's just because this time of year, guys, I like talking about the bow hunting, and we're going to talk about rifle hunting when that season gets a little closer here in a week or so. But all these crossbows. So I heard a statistic the other night that 50% of bow hunters in the state of Wisconsin are hunting with crossbows. And that's shocking to me. In a way, it's shocking. In a way, it's not. In a way, I go, sounds about right. And I'm going to piss some people off here. But I tell you how I feel. I tell you my opinion. And that opinion is my opinion. I don't ever want to take someone's right away or tell them that they should have my opinion and not theirs. I'm not saying your opinion's wrong, but to me, my opinion is that crossbows should not be allowed in the regular archery season, other than for handicapped or older folks that just can't draw a bow anymore. That's how it had been for years and years, and I believe that's how it still should be. Some may say that that's an antiquated view. Well, I'll give you my reasoning behind it. While the art of hunting is still the same, as far as, it's not really. It's different. I guess in any kind of hunting, you have to know how to get close to your quarry. You have to know how to get near enough to them to have a shot offered to you, a kill shot, so to speak. And that takes some talent and knowing where to look and where to hunt, picking a spot or a blind or a stand or whatever. Yeah, you need some skill there. But I believe the crossbow has a lot more in common with shotgun hunting, because I'm used to that from Illinois until recent year, this year or maybe last year. They're going to allow rifles with straight wall cartridges in some counties. So to me, the crossbow has a lot more in common with shotgun hunting than it does archery. And why do you say that? Well, a modern crossbow can shoot 80 to 100 yards easily. I've done it. I've seen it done. Where your average compound hunter is not going to shoot much further than 30 yards, maybe 40 or 50. but even to some extremely well-accomplished hunters and archers, most would pass a 50-yard shot rather than risk injuring the deer. And that's not to say they couldn't hit a 50-yard shot. I could hit a 50-yard shot all day long. But under the pressure of hunting and the animal not presenting the same target as a static bullseye on the wall, they can hear a shot. We call it arrow jumping, but it's not. They're actually ducking, but they can certainly jump a shot at 50 yards. I don't care how fast your bow, other than maybe a crossbow. But your distances are the same as a shotgun. Shotgun, you're solid out to 100 with a slug in most cases, 80 for sure. Scopes, red dots, the fact that you are not drawing, there's no drawing process, you're not having to hold even with a let off. It's just so much more like shotgun hunting than anything else. And I believe if you've only hunted with a crossbow and you've taken a deer with a crossbow, maybe you are as skilled a hunter as a compound shooter. Maybe you've shot someone with a compound, whatever. But I don't think it takes the same. I know it doesn't take the same skill to shoot a crossbow as it does a compound, and shoot it well. No, it doesn't. It just doesn't. That being said, people are complaining about lower harvest numbers. People are super complaining about there's just not enough room on public land. Everywhere they go, there's people hunting, this and that. They can't find any spot to themselves. Ask yourself why. Because if 50% of bow hunters in the state of Wisconsin are crossbow hunters, I would be willing to bet that if those crossbow shooters could only hunt with a compound, you'd probably lose 80% of them. 80% of them would say, nah, I don't want to hunt with a compound. Not to say they couldn't. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying those people that jump in on the crossbow thing are doing it not for their love of archery, but they like to hunt, they want to hunt, and they see it as an easy way to do it. And it is easier. Nobody, come on, guys, you can't argue to me that it's not easier. It is. The actual shooting process, once you have a deer in front of you, let's say, from there on, it's easier. And certainly easier because, that deer crossing at 60 yards that you're going to pass on a compound, you're going to hammer that thing with a crossbow. So I think your numbers would come down. And I'm saying keep it around for handicap. Keep it around for older folks that are hunting in their 60s, 70s, 80s, maybe can't pull a compound back anymore. I get it. I'll be there soon. I'm not saying outlaw them or ban them or get rid of them, but put them in. You could put them in with a muzzleloader season or with the firearm season. If you want to shoot a crossbow, great. Shoot it during firearm season. And guys will say, well, then I can't get I'm not able to hunt archery season. Well, yeah, you are, just with a compound. That's what it is, You want to shoot that? Take your choice. There's a rifle, there's a crossbow. I'll guarantee you every time, or majority of the time, they'll take the rifle. Why? Because it's more effective. And that's why they choose the crossbow too. It's not about the hunt or the archery or the love of archery. It's about how easily can I kill another deer. That's what it's about. In most cases, not all. Yeah, no. And now you're seeing all kinds of laws coming out that they want to give higher bag limits and extend seasons and all this. And it's because of the money and pressure that these crossbow companies are putting on these DNRs. We've went along for the last couple hundred years, and all of a sudden, this crossbow thing. I saw a video the other day of some young guy hunting with basically a novelty Walmart pistol. Even he said he wouldn't recommend it on a buck, but that's what this is bringing out. It's about how many does, how many bucks can we kill, put in the freezer, give to our buddies, how much meat, this, that. Come on, guys. It's not good for the sport. This sport, I heard an argument the other day, this sport doesn't need more hunters. For years, the hunting people always said, well, we got to get more people involved. More people involved means more money and better wildlife and all this. But let me tell you something. There's more than enough money out there. There's more than enough hunters, because there ain't no more room. And it's not that properties going away or places to hunt are going away or being bought up or done by these fenced canned hunt places and outfitters. Has nothing to do with that. It has to do with getting too many hunters, essentially. And the ones that maybe are getting involved, or the ones you don't need getting involved, are the ones that just want the easy way out. What happened to hunting being a tradition? Something passed down and done with family? Sure, done with grandpa with a crossbow because he can't pull back a compound? Fine. No problem. But at that point, why wouldn't grandpa use a shotgun or a rifle? I just don't see it. I don't see it. There's not a ton of skill involved. There's certainly not archery skills involved in crossbow shooting. There just isn't. It's like shooting any other firearm. It's shouldered the same way, it's sighted the same way, and you fire a projectile the same way, just slower. But you get more range, effective range of a shotgun. So go use a shotgun. You want to hunt bow season? By all means, you're welcome to. You can get another deer. Go get a bow. I don't believe it. I don't care for it. And again, it's my opinion. If you have a different one, that's great. I'm not shoving it on you. I'm just stating my opinion. That's all. Let's see. Archela's here. If you remember 2 weeks ago, I brought up Yellowstone Lake. Yeah. Shooting range near Argyle. Well, I went and have a range report. Very nice outdoor range. It's completely free, well kept, has 100-yard range, 50-yard range, pistol range, tennis yards, and an archery range. So that sounds a lot like it's probably run by the DNR, I assume. They run, Wisconsin has a great thing when it comes to their public ranges that the DNR runs. Everyone I've been to has been extremely nice, clean. You don't have range Nazis, range officers running around telling you how fast, how slow to shoot, or don't do this or don't do that. Pretty much do what you want as long as you're safe and respectful. The one up north by me that you've seen some videos at, and I shoot at a lot, it's just like that. I can go there. The only time it's going to be crowded is holiday weekends when tourists are up. But any other time, weekday or weekend, be one of maybe the only person there, maybe one of 4, 100-yard range, or pistol range, that type of thing. Same thing. Beautiful benches and even rests. Really nice place. But that one is... it's helped by the DNR and it's listed as a DNR one, but the local Vietnam Veterans Association runs that one. And it's all done by donations. I bet they have a donation box there. I don't know if it's run by a co-organization where you were, but I'll have to check it out because it can't be more than an hour from me, I wouldn't think. I don't know. I'll have to see. But yeah, shotgun patterning place, archery range like that one. I bet it's very similar. Would recommend to anyone who's close enough. Well, that's cool. And sometimes you got to go, shh, don't tell too many. But especially when it gets close to the Illinois border, you know what I mean? You get a ton of people up. Those damn Illinois people, fibs, damn fibs. That's what Wisconsin people call Illinois people, fibs. Any idea what that stands for, guys? You want me to spell it out for you? Effing Illinois bastards. That's what that stands for. Don't worry, I was a fib at one. Well, I was never a fib. I was never a cheesehead either. I always considered myself somewhere in between, like processed. I was like Velveeta. That was my joke I used to tell everyone. Let's see. Chase says he's going with Hoyt. Darton, that was awesome. Yeah, Bear Whitetail, Chase did. Plus a live stream too last year. Nice to see y'all. Squeaky Cooler. Watching for a little while. Tomorrow off work. Going pheasant hunting in the morning. Where are you going pheasant hunting? Nipa. Wow, I'm jealous. I love pheasant hunting and I love deer hunting. I love them. I've never been waterfowl hunting. Can you believe that? Ever. All the hunting I've done, never hunted for ducks or geese. Never had a friend that was into it or someone to show me. So never done it. So I'd like to. Any of you guys want to go duck hunting or goose hunting, let me know. I'm happy to tag along and check it out. The Ringer, me. And of course, 2A EDU is here. Dude, it was my pleasure to hang out with you guys. The pleasure was all mine. I had a great time, great people, great food, everything. Oh, it's already on your local. Oh, the muzzle brake. Yeah, guys, go over to 2A EDU's local channel and check out that Hyperfire brake. It works exceptionally well. Jamie's still in session tonight. I was just texting her. She's out there doing the best she can, guys, for all you guys in Michigan. She's a great, you're lucky to have her for a rep. Yeah, the founders did have a ton of foresight. It amazes me. They actually did, with the rent forgiveness during the pandemic, some of the tenants that were forced to be allowed to rent for free were soldiers. Huh. Active duty? That is why I share deals on locals. Retail is usually really high. Yeah. I go somewhere else. Rural King has the best prices if you watch. Yeah, that's like Fleet Farm here. You know, all those farm stores. I just like them. You know, you're dealing with at least the people that started those businesses, started dealing with agricultural people, farmers, and they just seem to be pretty straight up, and most of them have kept their way of doing business the same. I've never shopped at Sportsman's. Long time. Owned by Bass Pro now? They own them? Boy, Bass Pro screwed Cabela's. Now they're going to screw something else up, huh? Darton is or was in Hale, Michigan. Yeah, so was Bear. Bear was in Michigan, started there. If you get a chance, there's a 4-part series Bear put out on the life of Fred Bear. And then there's some other people that have put it out on YouTube, actually like doing a little bit of voiceover on it and then talking about it, showing it. But go watch some of that stuff. What an amazing, amazing man. You would not have bow hunting today like it is today if it wasn't for Fred Bear at all. It would look something totally different. Michigan has FUDs. Yeah, well, so does Wisconsin, trust me. Michigan and Wisconsin are very similar states. Our hunting tradition is huge, right? Hunt camp is the shit. That's what you're going for. You look forward to. It's a big deal, right? Yeah, it's just, you ever watch a Packers game on Fox or any of those when it's a home game in like January or February? If you've never noticed, next time you watch, the entire Packers sideline is solid hunter orange. That's what they have for cold weather gear, is their hunting clothes. So there's no yellow and green on those cold game days. It's just solid hunter orange. It's hilarious. You can't make a goose taste good. I tend to agree with you. I've eaten a couple that friends have made. It's all dark meat, and to me, everyone's like, "Oh, yeah." You remember the stories? Oh, the Christmas goose. Father, did you get the Christmas goose? Yeah, I brought home that tough ass piece of. Father, aren't we going to have the Christmas goose this year? No wonder. That was for the pole people because they suck. Everybody else was eating turkey or ham, right? I don't know. Yeah, I've never had a good one either. And no, duck, on the other hand, maybe I just got lucky. My mother-in-law knew how to make duck, boy. Crispy, not greasy, so delicious. I don't know why a goose wouldn't be any good, but they just aren't. I've never had a good one. Yes, active duty government literary force landlords. I remember them having to do the rent forgiveness thing. That put a lot of owners or rental property owners and frankly homeowners that may have owned a 2-flat, 3-flat and rented in a position, man. I wonder how many foreclosures happened from that, or if, I don't know. It just, how terrible being forced by your government to just, yeah, sure, stay, please. Yeah, it's mine. I know. Yeah, look, I owe a lot of money on it, but it's okay. You squat for free. Go on. Nobody did that for me. Sorry. I don't know. Goose is good if it's made into jerky. Well, isn't that what it was? That's what it tastes like. I don't even care for goose jerky. Maybe if you soak it in teriyaki for a month first, huh? Yeah, I don't know. But hunting's cool. I would like duck hunting because I like eating ducks. I only hunt what I like eating. I should say that. I don't hunt rabbits anymore, but I love rabbit, at least the way my wife made it. The recipe came from her grandma, but so good. I like pheasant. I like deer better than all the rest. Well, deer and rabbit are tied with me. Yeah. Pan braised with red paprika gravy. Think about it. Like goulash, kind of, but whole pieces. So sort of like chicken in a pan, you know. It's not breaded, it's just dusted. And this red paprika gravy that's like a goulash gravy. And oh my God, mashed potatoes. Oh, so good. Deer opener here in North. Oh, we got North Dakota in the house. DB Cooper. Is that where you jumped out? Thought you were further west. Maybe the winds pulled you a little over, huh? If you ever want to share any of that cash, man, let me know. I like the Dakotas. I like South Dakota. I love their governor. First of all, she's easy to look at, if you know what I mean. I think that she's cute. She's hot, actually. But I love the things she does. I love the things that state's doing. I think I'd like to see her run for president. I really would. Quite the woman. And she hunts. You ever seen her pheasant hunt? She's a good shot. You see her ride? She can ride a horse. I saw her. It was partially set up, but they round up the buffalo in Custer State Park at the end of the year, and they winter them in corrals or this certain area, and they have a roundup every year, and she took part in it. She's not just show. That girl can ride, she can shoot, she can everything. Very, very impressive woman. 2A, got to jump off to record a quick video about the nationwide pistol bracelet. Yeah, did you hear me talk about that earlier? So it went nationwide. Court, Northern Texas, a couple hours ago, put it through. So I don't know if they'll be able to overturn it, but we'll see. They probably will try, but a lot don't want to step on toes like that either. So I don't know. We'll see. Chicken paprika's dead. Made it with rabbit. That's what this was. Yeah. Take it easy, 2A. No problem. And we'll see you on Friday. She's a farm girl. She has a great chick. Anyways, yeah, I don't know if anybody's got an opinion on the crossbow thing. And I'm not putting you guys down. I get it. There's some people that they just want to fill the freezer. More and more and more and more. Well, at what expense when you got so many people out hunting just because somebody gets greedy and needs another deer, you know? I mean, unless you are truly feeding, the difference between feeding your family or going hungry is the case, okay. But other than that, I don't see it as what it was meant for. Fine, go hunt gun season. If you love your crossbow, go hunt gun season. Go hunt gun season. You want to hunt archery season? Great. Go get a bow. Get a longbow, get a compound, get a recurve. But you cannot put a crossbow in with something that looks more like a shotgun or a rifle than it does a bow, especially with the technologies today. You just can't. That's about it. So we covered the injunction, guys. Looks like we got a nationwide injunction on that. And that's a good thing. We'll see if it holds. We talked a little bit about, you know, some entry level, well, a little higher than entry level, but archery, get back into that, some of the equipment, and my shoot and a miss yesterday. If you guys would like to see some more archery content, I'd be happy to do it. What else? We covered the injunction. We covered the 2A EDU get together and our 2,000 round test, which he will have the video out soon, and you'll see what happened. Very interesting is all I'll tell you. But I other than some of the issues there, I really like that rifle. I think you'll be surprised when you see the video. I had a cousin ruin hunting on my in-laws' farm. He would shoot across the fields, poached all the time. Poaching on neighbors' property, like? Yeah, I don't get that. You know, they see a deer and you're so bloodthirsty or hunt crazy or that you just... Why would you risk your hunting privileges? Hey, you lose your firearm. You can lose the vehicle that's used in it. You can go to jail. You can... For a deer? Are you friggin' kidding me? I mean, I don't know. Oh, one more point I wanted to make. When we're talking about, they used to say, oh, we need more hunters. We need more money, this and that. Guys, that was back 50s, 60s, 70s, even the 80s. The deer population was not what it is today. It's these DNRs, and I know everybody likes to bang on them, but the deer herd is light years, exponentially more massive than it was then. There were times in the 60s, maybe the 50s, certainly the 70s, where you couldn't find deer to shoot in a lot of states. There were states where there was a lottery for permits. Deer hunting was not what it is today. Today, they're coming out our ears because of proper management practices, and tons of money being dumped in. We have enough hunters. I know that sounds contrary to everything we push with, hey, get your neighbors, your kids involved with Second Amendment, this, that, firearms. It's not necessarily with hunting. I mean, hunting is way more normal than it ever was. There were, in the 70s, 80s, there weren't that many folks in big cities that were going out hunting. It fell off. But why did it fall off? There were no deer. There was none. It was horrible. And today there's deer everywhere. Look at these suburbs that are overrun with them. There's a suburb I saw that in this subdivision there had to be 150 elk just all bedded on people's front lawns in the subdivision. Elk everywhere. People couldn't come out their front doors, get in their driveways, nothing. We don't need the folks. And crossbow is one of those things that did it. It took something, made it easy without having to have a license and background check and all this other crap to buy a gun to go hunting, where you can walk in, buy a crossbow, walk out, and go hunting with a weapon that is arguably certainly as deadly as a lot of handguns and shotguns. It'll take a deer down just as quick, just as easy, with very little skill. As far as the shooting portion of it goes. I'm not talking about the hunting. I'm not saying crossbow people are bad hunters. I'm not saying that. Someone will say that. Watch. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying from the point of finding or getting in front of that animal, from that point to pulling the trigger to putting it on the ground, that's what doesn't take skills. Anyhow, that's about it, guys. Poachers ruin it for everyone. I hear you. We had a guy in my fraternity in college in Michigan who was touted by others in the fraternity as this great hunter. Oh, you should see the mounts, this and that. And sure enough, we'd go to his college apartment, and he had 2 beautiful bucks mounted on the wall. A 12-pointer and another one, I don't know how many points, but they were both monsters. Mounted. Oh, yeah, I hunt. Where'd you get him? How'd you get him? Oh, shining. Yeah, with light at night out the car window. Those 2 deer mounted there, those you got shining? Yeah. And like proud of it. Like, what, don't you do it? Kind of thing, First of all, if you had those deer mounted and they were on your wall and you had gotten them poaching like that, shining, would you just go and tell everybody that? It's weird to begin with. But, one night we're at the bar, and there's 4 of us packed in his car. We're coming home. This bar was out of town. Pulls off the side road. He goes, I got to check something out real quick. We pull down this farm road, and he whips out the big spotlight, and there's eyes everywhere. He goes, oh, look at that buck. Look at that buck there. He jumps out of the car, opens the trunk, and he grabs a Marlin lever action. And I said, I jumped out of the car. I said, don't you dare. Not with me in the car. You want to do it? Go drop me out back by the main road, and I'll walk. He goes, fuck you. And shoves me. Sorry. And blam, puts his deer down, right? But he did that constantly. Trophies for whatever, and thought it no. I should have turned him in, is what I should have. But I don't know. Being younger, fraternity, all that stuff, I didn't do it. But I certainly didn't take part in it. And I let him know in no uncertain terms that that's just not right, man. Constantly. And he wasn't taking little deer either, all because those big bucks are the ones you don't see during the day. They become nocturnal. And he was taking them. So you're taking all them big bucks out of the mix, not allowing real hunters to go out and try and get one. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Poaching is bad all the way around. Same thing happens with fishing. You know, those same type of people are the ones that get on a lake and, oh, they start catching some nice crappie or some nice bluegill. And there's no limit, right? And they fill a 5-gallon bucket and they head back to the pier, drop it off, put it in the car, put it in the cabin, head back out, fill another pail of them, and another pail. And before you know it, that lake that had all these slab-sized crappies in it, you can't find a one. Ask me how I know, because that happened on our lake. And frankly, you know what it was? It was these old guys, these old timers. I'm talking 70s, 80s, you know, and they would go out and hit these crappie beds. And if the limit was 100 or something, they'd go drop them at home or go fillet them real fast, put them in the freezer, and head out and get more. And they took buckets and buckets and buckets. How long do you think it takes? How many buckets full before you deplete those fish that are on their beds nesting, spawning, and you're yanking them off the beds before you got none left in the lake? I've been on that lake 33 years. I've caught exactly 4 crappies out of that lake. Now, every single one of them was dinner plate size. I've never caught a small one, ever. All this big. But in 33 years, I've caught 4 of them. I have tried to target them by finding a school on the depth finder and targeting them with jigs and whatnot, and can't do it. I have a good friend who gets a bunch of them through the ice, but you can't catch them during the summer. I catch them accidentally when I'm fishing for walleyes. But other than that, the lake's cleaned out, you know, of those type of fish. Now, unfortunately, I think they've done the same thing with walleyes. The walleye went from boating 100 in the night between 5 o'clock and 8 o'clock. Me and a buddy could go out in a boat, get 100 walleyes in the boat, release them all. Every last one of them. Maybe 1 or 2 for dinner occasionally. And now it's hard to get. I maybe got 5 walleye all year on a northern Wisconsin lake with no public access, other than 2 resorts that are condoed off and do rent some of them here and there. But that's people just taking too many fish. They know the DNR doesn't come on the lake because there's no public landing, and they take advantage, and now they've destroyed it. So, I don't know. Makes me sick. You know what's funny, though? A lot of times it is old-timers. Those same old-timers that took the crappie have told me personally, well, hey, what are you fishing for, Chris? Muskies. What do you want those things for? You know what these guys do? Whenever they catch a muskie, they gouge its eyes out and throw it back in the lake. They hate them. You know why? They say it ruins their walleye fishing and their crappie fishing. They eat all the walleyes and the crappie. Okay. Old guys. I'm not kidding you. I know 2 or 3 guys on my lake alone that when the rare occasion they get a muskie, they gouge its eyes out, throw it back. They don't care if it's 30 inches or 53 inches. That's what they do. Well, a 53-incher they'd claim as a trophy probably. But some old-timers, man, they don't get it, you know. But, yeah, only disabled can hunt with crossbow. That's how it should be. Not in Illinois, boy. They opened it all up in Wisconsin, too. Not a good thing. Hopefully they go out a couple of times, they don't see any deer, and that's that. They give up the crossbow thing. But, yeah, these companies, I guarantee you, it's all happened through lobbying money and these big crossbow companies throwing money at DNRs and legislatures, and, yeah, that's how they get it. But, no, not good. Mark my words, not good. And it's social media, too. Social media is killing the hunting industry right now. Killing the hunters, too. It's making guys, you shoot a decent little 6-pointer or something, and nobody wants to show the picture to their buddies because all they see on the internet is all these whacked out ginormous bucks, that half of them are probably, well, I'm not going to say that, but some of them are done on high wire fenced in pseudo farms, breeding projects, hunt clubs where they pay big money to get these genetically superior bucks that are fenced in. That's a lot of the cases. Others are certainly just good hunters putting the time in, but they make it out to be that every deer has to be a 180 inch, 200 inch, 170. Be proud of any deer you get. Any deer you get. It is what it is. What happened to it being about tradition, spending time with your family, your kids, your fathers, your grandfathers, and enjoying the camaraderie and the fun and the tradition of hunting. That's what it should be about in my book. Anyhow, if you guys are hunting this year, I hope you're enjoying it. Good luck to you. Enjoy the upcoming firearm season. And know that if you're in southern Wisconsin, southern Michigan, northern Illinois, northern Indiana, that the rut is on right now. You got cold snap coming in Friday, Saturday. It's going to turn on. That's going to be the best last weekend left. Cold snap and the rut. I think after this weekend, it's going to start sliding off. It'll still be okay the following week and all, but it's going to culminate this weekend. I think is going to be. I think Halloween weekend was probably the best weekend for movement and everything in our area, but this weekend's going to be pretty good, I think, and then it'll just taper from there. So. Enjoy it while you can. Get out. Take a sick day. Take a something. Go get out there and do some hunting. And then send me pictures of the bucks you get. Send them to my email. I love seeing them. We'll talk about it. Thank you guys. Thanks everybody for showing up. And we appreciate everything you do. Before you go, make sure you hit the like button, thumbs up if you're not subscribed. Make sure you subscribe. If you are subscribed, check to make sure you're still subscribed. And if you can, please throw us a super chat. It goes to support the channel and support everything we do here. Thanks to 280U and everybody that showed up there. If I left your name out, I had a great time. It was a ton of fun. I started to tell you one thing, and then I'll let you go. We brought the Uzi. We shot that. I brought a Tech 9, one of the original ones, KG9, actually, not a Tech 9, KG9 Interdynamics, super low serial number. It was one of the first 500 made, brand new or near brand new in the box. Yeah, they weren't great weapons to begin with, and they still aren't, but it's one of the few left open bolt little subguns, semi-auto. The ATF has since gotten rid of them because they were too easy to convert, but we brought that and messed around with it. Brought my Yugo underfolder M70AB2, and I brought my Sam 7 side folder, which I never even got out to shoot. And we shot our Rock Island Armory GI Classic, GI Standard 1911. And we shot a Smith & Wesson revolver 22 stainless little pack gun. That's my pack gun for deer hunting. It's on my hip when it's gun season. So it was fun. Of course, we shot his Palmetto State Armory AK, and you guys are going to catch his video and my video coming up pretty soon here. So make sure you see those. You're going to find it very interesting in more than one way. So thanks for showing up. Thanks for checking us out. I know we're a day late. We'll see you next Tuesday, and watch for some videos coming out. Thanks again for everything. Love you all. And as always, Rockford Ordnance out. Wish me luck the next couple of days at getting this buck. Hopefully we cross paths again. I'll talk to you soon. I'll go live if we do. All right, I'll show you the deer. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night.